right, everybody, we've had a ridiculous day of hockey on this side. You have 24 out of 32 teams that are in action today. We are a few minutes, at least from the start of broadcast coverage, but I figured since I'm in here already, we're trying to flip to the channels and make sure everything else is okay. And then I'm in the CBC side more toward Michigan here that we can catch the 5-minute OT between Boston and Vancouver. So let's do this now, and then we'll get into our featured side. So a little bit of pregame here for you on this end. So Boston has the puck now. It's Charlie McAvoy. Brad Marchand also in there as well. So Alec is in here right now. I'm not sure. I think Cooper Hopkins is going to be joining in. I'll bring in Alec. I'm just looking at the OT between Boston and Vancouver. This coil will spin back in his own end. Try to leave this ahead here for McAvoy. He'll play this one off the backhand. Charlie with it now here on the left side. Dot Boston. Still keeping this with Pasta. Now for Charlie. It's near the right side. Dot Brad Marchand as he gets dispossessed. And now Vancouver gets their first touch. It's Hughes now. Hughes near the left side. He'll slow up and shoot, and he missed it all. This will go off the glass, and it'll be a 2-on-1. It'll be thrown back to Demko. And we'll start it again here for the Canucks. As they get this across the left side red line, they thought that there was going to be too many men, but they get dispossessed near the left side. It's Pettersson with a chance. And now a delayed penalty is called against the Bees. And this puts Vancouver on the power play with 3:51 in the OT.
How's it going? Well, I know this is a bit of a surprise, but I wouldn't want to pass up a good old-fashioned Battle of Alberta that's coming up next after this.
Alec, this has been a wonderful day of NHL hockey. We've had some good college matchups as well. We've had a lot of OTs, a lot of close games. There's going to be a lot of talk about in the intermission.
Oh, yeah, this one too. Yeah, they're saying too many men against the Bruins, but we speak of a great day of hockey with two games going to overtime, one to a shootout, including a very eventful debut week for rookie for the Rangers, Matt Rempe.
You could definitely say that, Alec. We'll definitely recap that bout. That was almost as good as any boxing matches you would see back in the day against Nicholas Delorier in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that was a heavyweight matchup, one I would heard just throwing all sorts of rights as old-time hockey at its finest. We need more of this from Deloriers and Rempe.
I am seeing the green men of Vancouver throwing egos in the air while the man is in the penalty box.
Never change, green men.
Oh, we love the green men. I've seen them a few times in Vancouver. They always make me laugh. Timeout here for Boston as we continue to watch the thriller here today. These are two really good hockey teams, Alec. I know I'm just catching the OT here, but Boston and Vancouver, two heavyweights in both conferences.
I mean, it's 13 years ever since they faced off against one another in the Stanley Cup final. They're both playing like they're back in the Stanley Cup final. Would you say that?
I would say that, and it's very important here for Boston again, because if you think about in the Atlantic, I will say this with Detroit, especially when we get in the first intermission of Battle of Alberta. Important to get these points out because everybody in front of them, everybody behind them continues to win. So JT Miller will get this face-off. We'll send it all the way back. It's Miller, Pettersson, Besser, and Hughes. And then when I think that this is done, I'll go back on the ESPN Plus. I don't know how far my CBC feed will be ahead being in Michigan. But Pettersson now, and toward the right side, is a little bit of a hand grenade pass here for Besser. Now behind the net, Vancouver does have it. It is Quinn Hughes. Hughes now sends it to the left side. Dot tip scores! Besser wins it for the Canucks.
There you go. We speak of two Stanley Cup contenders. He was all at the net front to redirect it right in front. No chance for Jeremy Swayman. It looked initially was going to miss the net. But had it not been for Besser, I know that it was going to miss the net. And there you have it. The 38th shot, third goal for Vancouver, OT winner. That's the crucial second point for the Canucks. And for the moment, they have the league lead.
Wow, that's a deflection there. Good send-off pass from Hughes. Miller fires it. Perfect blade deflection for Besser. And the Canucks take a big 2 points, as Alec said. Again, we mentioned in the standings, it continues to move day by day. As every step closer is another day toward the trade deadline. You can thank Philip Peronic, former Red Wing, for the game-time goal before Besser finishes it off, and Canucks take 2.
And thus continues on the battle for first place. It's not just Vancouver. Boston's still there. Florida is there. The Rangers are there. Anyone in the Central can realistically also take it. Don't forget the Stars and Jets, or the Avs, for that matter.
Yeah, you've had some good matchups, been able to watch between the Stars and Canes. I know you did that. Stars are in action again today. There's still a lot more games left to go here. I'm going to try to go ahead and flip on the feed just to see where we'll be, and then I'll get you settled in for the starting lineups for both of these teams between Calgary and Edmonton. Honestly, I know Alec, Edmonton's taken the first couple games in this series, but I still think, even though the Flames have been hot and cold, again, their last couple wins are against Boston and against Winnipeg. I think that they are a team that is not to be trifled with. They can definitely make you pay.
Yeah, even though the Flames, for as rocky as they've been this season, they're really starting to show what they can be at their fullest potential. Perhaps that was the notion there. Even though they don't have a point-per-game player, the closest one is Nazem Kadri at 50 points. 20 goals, 30 assists. But still, any one of these guys, they can step up and really bite at any of the better teams on the team.
So let me go ahead and I'll just take care of this now with the starting lineups. Again, we still have a little bit ways to go, and then I'll pause the recorder after. But I'll bring this in right now. So I got Alec Nava here with me. I think Cooper Hopkins will join in a little bit later. It's the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers in the Battle of Alberta on a Saturday night, February 24th. How's everybody doing out there today? It is the Calgary Flames, head coached by Ryan Huska, 27-25-5. They are 6th in the Pacific. Only 3 points out of WC2 right now. But it's Nazem Kadri, Connor Zary, Martin Pospisil, Noah Hanifin, and Kris Tanev, Yegor Sharangovich, Jonathan Huberdeau, Jacob Pelchier, MacKenzie, Weegar, and Rasmus Andersson, Mikael Backlund, Andrew Mangiapane, Blake Coleman, Kevin Rooney, Drayden Hunt, and Walker Dewar, with Oliver Shillington, Braden Pascal, Jacob Markstrom will be in the goal crease. And for the Edmonton Oilers, they've started to give up some goals of late, but they're 33-19-2, coached by Kris Knoblauch, 3rd in the Pacific. It's Connor McDavid, Warren Foegele, Zach Hyman, Matthias Ekholm, Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl with RNH, Evander Kane, Darnell Nurse, and Cody Ceci on the back end. Ryan McLeod, Matthias Janmark, Connor Brown, Derek Ryan, Dylan Holloway, Corey Perry with Brett Kulak and Vincent Desharnais. Stuart Skinner will be in the goal crease. And here's the thing for me, Alec. We've talked about Edmonton. We've talked about some of their win streaks at the side of 16. And now I look at Edmonton in the last 5. Again, I know small sample size, but 2-2-1. But here's the thing that raises an eyebrow to me again. Losses to St. Louis, 6-3, Boston 6-5, Minnesota 4-2. They are starting to give up a lot of goals against again, and that's going to lead me to believe of the same old narrative. I know Edmonton's in a great spot, but you got to get closer back to that 16-game win streak when you're winning games 2-1, 3-2, don't you?
You have to. You have to get back to those winning formulas that got you to that 16-game win streak and be consistent at it. You can't go back over to the same old narrative that you've been used to in the past few years, especially when Vegas has beat Edmonton in 6 games in a second-round series, when it was basically giving up 5 goals, 4 goals, playing 80s hockey and hoping for the best. That was the Detroit game earlier this month.
Mm-hmm.
That was, to an extent, maybe, but it was a 4-3 overtime victory. Arizona, you can also point to that because that's a 6-3 victory. But still, you need to go back to the winning ways of the 16-game win streak. You can't win games with 80s hockey nowadays.
No, again, that's the thing that we've talked about a bunch of times with the Oilers on that, and I have to press the button because you just don't want to see it too much on this end. So I flip back over to the CBC side, but I'll go back to ESPN Plus in a second. I just want to make sure that the coverage is coming up here on this end. So they're in the broadcast booth, so we should be good to go as they're doing some intermission coverages. And for Calgary here, Alec, on this side, I know they're only a few points out of WC2, but what do you make of it? You have a couple losses in there. You get bludgeoned by the Red Wings, but then when you come back and you win those games over Boston and Winnipeg, it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, you look at the games against Winnipeg and Boston being able to pull those guys back. Not only do you beat the Bruins against the Bruins, which shows that anything can happen in hockey. We went over this a couple of times, but the Flames, they're still a gritty team that can bounce whenever one team makes a mistake. The Flames will capitalize on it.
So I'm interested to see what's going to happen again. We'll save all of our other scoreboard coverages and everything else for the intermission. Alec and I are just hanging out for a little bit here before this game gets started. Again, I'll pause the recording here for a second, but we can just hang out for a bit before it starts.
Yeah, they're showing the Toronto-Colorado game beforehand. Toronto gets the victory. Tyler Bertuzzi with a net front goal to get the winner. That was the final minutes of regulation, 4-3 to final at Colorado. And before that, I was going to do that game, but then I had second thoughts on it. Well, how about Battle Alberta? Well, nonetheless, this is fun.
It is fun. What do you think of those alternate jerseys for the Maple Leafs? I know it's a black and blue color scheme, but I actually really like those.
I've heard that they are invertible. Basically, isn't this one they had for when they were collaborating with Justin Bieber?
Okay, that must have been what it is, though. Whatever they did with that, I actually like those for the Maple Leafs. I know it's usually blue or white on that side, but those look pretty clean.
They are. And going with the all-black jerseys, that is a smooth jersey. Let's not kid ourselves.
Well, I hope that when they're showing the Battle of Alberta stuff right now, that they're not going with the classic jerseys, the Heritage Classic jerseys, because I really don't like those for Edmonton.
Well, it pains us to say that. Even though I covered the Heritage Classic, the jerseys were meh.
Yeah, that's what I think on that side. Again, we'll see what ends up happening with the NHL and the Fanatics deal. I know Alec and I have talked about that a bunch, but we didn't mention the MLB side where they have see-through pants and see-through jerseys. That is a boo.
Oh, well, guess hockey fans, they did try to warn baseball fans.
Yeah, it's not good. And then I heard some of the stuff in spring training with some of the teams that they didn't get enough jerseys for teams in spring training, so they have to use their old kits, the Cincinnati Reds and a few other teams like that. So very interesting the way that that's going to work. I don't know if Fanatics was the best choice, but that is maybe where we're headed, Alec, as far as all four major sports in the United States.
The only explanation I really have for this, John, is that if it's a cost-cutting move around the league.
It's got to be on that side. And it's amazing with the amount of patches and things that you see now on some of these jerseys, all these other betting ads, everything else that goes across the board. You would think that all these other leagues are making money hand over fist, and you know that they are. But still to be able to bleed that much money, you would think, at least for me, I'll put it in perspective, that Matty Beniers jersey was the last one on the side for before the Fanatics deal went over. So I was happy to get a Nike jersey in there because I don't think I'm going to be buying a jersey for the next decade.
Well, if it's going towards that way, it pains us to say, hey, that's no. Now that they're getting the old Canada anthem in Edmonton underway, well, just for something, for good measure, here's an interesting decision. Jacob Markstrom will be backing up Dan Vladar for the second straight game.
Wow. So that is definitely a development on that side. Again, it makes me wonder, I don't want to say this out loud, but I guess I'm going to, about trade speculations.
Maybe. There may be some trade speculations around. We may be seeing his name thrown around at the deadline. He's going to be moved somewhere to a team that still wants to get into playoff contention, someone that's out of it, still competing around, hanging around. We're also seeing Jake Gensel's name being brought up. Should the Penguins be stuck in the in-between? Not good enough to make the playoffs, not bad enough to get a high draft pick.
So as we're going through the anthem right now, again, you bring up Getzel. I saw something that blew my mind on NHL Network when they were doing prerequisite trade talks, thinking that Jake Getzel might go to the Edmonton Oilers for a package. That would make a fantastic top six if that ended up being true.
Ooh, that would. Just imagine. Getzel, McDavid, Hyman. Then you got Nugent-Hopkins, Draisaitl, Kane, Fogle, McLeod, Janmark, and then Brown, Ryan, Perry. How about that?
Yeah, that is definite heavyweight scrap material as far as getting the job done and getting goals, and thinking that Edmonton could probably push their way. I don't want to say all the way in front of the Stanley Cup, but you would think that would at least get them to the second or third round. So as Alec mentioned, Dan Vladar is in the goal crease, 7-7-2, 322 goals against, and we're going to see how he's going to do on the other side here against Stuart Skinner. 25-12-2, 266, 903, and a couple of shutouts. Dan Vladar is one of those guys, Alec, that can be very hot and cold, but when he's on his game, and if the Flames play well enough, they should be able to get a chance, but you don't want to start the season series 0-3. Flames need these points.
Yeah, they do. 888 save percentage, not really the most ideal, but as you mentioned, he is hot and cold. We go back to the Columbus game and John Big Hockey's return.
So we are underway now at Rogers Place in Edmonton, Alberta. It's another one of these, Battle of Alberta. This time this will be in Edmonton. As this is sent back around again, Noah Hanifin is one of those ones that will be in trade talks alongside Kris. The Flames are going to have a lot to do, and Craig Conroy is going to be a busy man with those cell phones. And if you're thinking about the Xbox 360 days, it'd be the Blackberries on the NHL games. As this is sent around, this is Lewis from McLeod, and now picked up here by the Flames. It'll be an opportunity to get this near the left side for Dryden Hunt off the half spin. Hunt will send this one across the goal crease, get it back near the right side red line, and off his drop pass, there will be a chance for Huberdeau. This will go picked up by MacKenzie Weegar. Weegar now off the end boards, and now the Oilers with RNH will push this one back around. Jonathan Huberdeau trying to go ahead and get a piece of it as CC lost it for a moment. Yegor Sharangovich swung and missed on a backhand. Let's say 2-on-2. Here's the drop fired toward the net. It was stopped by Vladar for a moment. And now Corey Perry will watch. This will be Marty Pospisil now against Darnell Nurse. Perry come all the way back in his own end, and the Oilers will try to go left to right again. It's kind of a mix of camo pants and the mix of the orange and blue on the color scheme for the Oilers and the Heritage Classic, with the top reds and a little bit of a milky white in the middle for the Flames on that side. Again, the Flames jersey is a little bit more clean, and I'm not trying to be a little bit less biased on that end, but they're not my favorite kits on both sides. As Ekholm put this ahead for Connor McDavid. Here's a sauce pass. A touch by Hyman, left for Bouchard, and now the Flames might have something on 2-on-2. Doer, Kadri tips and scores! Nazem gets the Flames on the board.
As good as it gets for Nazem Kadri off the misplay by Evan Bouchard. Nice takeaway by the Flames and getting the heat going. Walker Doer over for the near side. After the takeaway, Kadri just did a light tap onto this puck, but a light tap was all that was needed to get this inside deflection goal. Flames on the board first.
That is a pretty goal for Nazem Kadri on that side, as you said, Alec. Again, he's coming off being the OT hero against the Bruins, and now he gets the first goal of the game for the Flames. He is now the leading points getter. Like Coleman, he was their first half later on this side, but Nazem's really percolated since the break, as this is picked up now for Peltier. Again, Peltier got smoked by Trouba several games ago, but he's back out there now. It's the first time I get a chance to see him as the puck goes out of play. One shot, one goal. That's what the Flames have with 17:42 in the first.
And this is Pelletier's fifth game of the NHL season. It comes at the expense of Andrei Kuzmenko, with 11 goals and 25 points. He acquired by Calgary for the purpose of getting more offensive possession time for the Flames and more goal scoring.
And we'll see what continues to happen with Kuzmenko. I do think that that's a good pickup for the Flames on that side, alongside Yegor Sharangovich for Tyler Toffoli. You're just going to be headed in a new direction alongside Backlund now, who's going to break a good back check for Connor McDavid. But I was going to say, in between the mix of Huberdeau, MacKenzie, Weegar, and Nazem Kadri, that's the trifecta, that tree living left. Another 2-on-1 situation, cross pass for Hyman, and Vladar and a couple other Calgary Flames were spinning in their own net. As this pace has been pretty breathless right now, but it's still just one shot. Here are the Oilers as players come together like bowling pins near the left side. And this is taken out for Fogle. Now near the left side, Oilers push this around the net now as Ryan lost it. And now this is Oliver Shillington. Very good to see him back. There's a sauce pass between the legs. This will get picked up here for Derek Ryan. And now across the Oilers center ice logo. As this one's flipped in, Yegor Sharangovich. Go ahead and take a look at for Brett Kulak as this is spun around. Flames get the interception behind the net of Stuart Skinner. Fake the slapper. Shillington. Hanifin. Shillington. Bomb. And this is blocked right near the left side dot by the Oilers. And Holloway loses it for a moment. Flames will pick this one back up with Jonathan Huberdeau as this is pushed in near the right side red line. This is bounced off the referee. Players are in the midst of some changes, but this will be Shillington. Almost gets dispossessed in his own end. Pospisil will try to leap for Kadri, and this goes up into the players' bench. 16:03 in the first.
So there is a 2-on-1 that was done by Warren Fogle as he tried to go across for Zach Hyman on a 2-on-1. Defenseman was in the way, though, blocked the pass. Would have resulted in a goal had that pass been converted and that defender was out of the way. I believe it's Rasmus Andersson who got in the way to break up that pass.
He would be another one of those defenders, Alec, that you can talk about. I'm not going to say that Rasmus Andersson is in a hot seat on the trade deadline, but he's another one of those pieces. It's a very good offensive defenseman that Calgary wants to be able to keep in the rotation with Weegar for a long time. Not going to hold on to everybody, however, as this is with the Flames near the left side dot. Couple of backhand passes. Pospisil, good reverse hit, stay on his feet. Oilers have it now, though. Left to right, long shot, stop by Vladar. As this is sent around the inboards here. Cody Ceci. Ceci Clapper. That was good traffic in front of Vladar, able to make a left pad save as the Flames have it in their own end, trying to get around a dispossess. Flames able to stay on sides, and now they won't. And we're getting some really push and shoving here with Darnell Nurse, Connor Zary coming in, trying to clean up the mess, and a pair of 91s as this is getting feisty early. Connor Zary with his helmet off. He wants to go as he's in a headlock here. Tanev joining in with Kane. I think Zary doesn't want to fight Kane here.
As we get Cooper on board, well, you notice it's going to come from a long way. You notice what's coming. This is a fierce rivalry. The fierceness has not vanished ever since that playoff appearance and playoff matchup on both sides. This was coming all the way through. We would not be surprised if two guys would drop the gloves.
Welcome in, my friend. How are you doing?
Well, good evening, gentlemen. Of course, I have to apologize. I'm a little tardy this time. It's become my pattern. I got to switch that up, but I don't want to switch anything about the Calgary Flames play so far. It's both my reward and my punishment. I wasn't able to be on the call with you when Nazem Kadri opened scoring with a tip out in front, but the Flames are in the lead here in Edmonton. Just one shot apiece, one goal for the visiting Flames. And you were right, boys. Things are getting spicy early. We're going to have a good one on our hands here, I think.
So Jonathan Huberdeau going to take this draw against Leon, and Leon's going to win this one back again. 4-2 loss against the Wild. They outshot Minnesota 43-20, but again, bad habits are starting to develop for the Edmonton Oilers in the last 5, 2-2 and 1. They want to reverse the goals against trend, as this is slap shotted here a couple times, and Sportsnet feed starting to bounce around a little bit. I hope not, as McLeod can't keep this one in. It's Huberdeau. As he'll take a look, Sharangovich sends this across for Pelchier. As this is bounced up between a couple of skates, RNH will watch in front of the net. Here's a good back pass for Huberdeau. Somehow trying to keep this alive. Pelchier almost falling down. He's making a pass to the offside dot. Good steal. Here's a chance. Weegar shoots it wide. He just stole that puck. He could have taken that to the house. As this is sent around the other way. Pelchier still trying to keep this around his skate blades. I'm surprised there's no hooking calls as this is sent in. And now we will get a whistle. There were sticks everywhere against the defense.
That got spicy, John. That was so spicy. Imagine that someone's going to put jalapeno peppers onto a MacKenzie Weegar. So close to beating Stuart Skinner. Walker tied for 16th. Most among defensemen.
Good save there early as it's Backlund now. We'll get the neutral zone draw. Michael Backlund, the captaincy for the Flames. Coleman Gets this near the right side dot. It's wrapped around for Skinner. Mangiapane will get hit. We'll try to pick this one up in behind the net, however. Again, Calgary's won the last couple games, outscored opponents 9-5, and that's good against Boston and Winnipeg. Coleman settles it down. Bomb. Good stop for Skinner. As this is near the left side. Mangiapane trying to locate here as Edmonton will take this long pass. Good interception to the neutral zone for the Flames. As Mangiapane absorbs a cross check. Hyman now pinned against the wall by Backlund, and this is flipped up in the air as CC can settle it down here for the Oilers. I think they need to a little bit on this side. As this is Hyman gets dispossessed, the Flames will get this near the left side red line. Dewar finishes his hit, and this is sent in deep. Good reverse hit on the other end, but this will be picked off by number 55. No Hanifin. Try to send this across, and this will go to the bench. Out of play, 13:27 in the first.
Well, boys, we're going to get our first media timeout here, so we have a little extra moment or two here to just reset. Thanks for bringing me in on the broadcast here. This is a battle of Alberta that I think we've all been looking forward to. The Flames have actually looked relatively good over the past couple of games or so after having a bit of a cold streak. Is there anything you're expecting in particular, guys? I mean, of course, now we have the opening goal from Kadri, which I honestly did not expect. I thought the Edmonton Oilers would come out after losing that game to Minnesota with a little bit more of a push, but the Flames have taken care of things early.
Go ahead, Alec.
Yeah, they have been. So, for as a matter of fact, wins over Winnipeg and Boston, no fluke, especially when you think about the Flames surprisingly sweeping the Bruins in the season series. Of course, when you think of takeaways, the Flames, whenever they see a mistake by the better team that's coming into a game on record, of course, capitalizing on it.
So I want to look to answer your question here, Cooper. Again, we'll go through the scoreboard in the first intermission, but I'm going to look on the side of the standings on this end and see that Calgary is still not out of this thing right now. Again, they lost the first couple games in the series to the Edmonton Oilers, but they're entering today 59 points. Just 3 points out of a wild card spot is Nashville's in the second. St. Louis is out today. They need to be the team that comes out and pushes the pace. And again, after that 3-game losing streak, again, we texted back and forth in between the Red Wings and the Flames when I was doing the Sharks game. That didn't look so good. But to come back in the next couple games and get critical wins, you got to like the start. And if they can continue this the way they did against Boston and Winnipeg, you got to say Calgary got a pretty good chance.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. And we'll have plenty of time to talk during the intermissions. But, boy, those Nashville Predators, you thought they may have been down and out, but they seem to have breathe some new life into their season, so lots of interesting things happening for teams that are on that playoff bubble.
So what's new for Connor McDavid? 52 games, he's on pace for 102, 66 assists. Again, it was only 5 games ago that I covered the Edmonton Oilers. And how many assists does Connor McDavid pick up in 5 games? 14. As it's Evan Bouchard. We'll get this one now near the right side dot. Picked up for Draisaitl as we're back underneath the action. Pass across Bouchard. Center to the left side dot. All sorts of traffic. Here's a pinball chance. And this one has the net knocked off as Dan Vladar was probably taking an extra breath.
And he has to breathe a sigh of relief knowing that Matthias Ekholm fired that up high and wide, and then the net got knocked off at the end.
Boy, I'll be completely honest, gentlemen. I thought that puck hit the back of the net, but Vladar just able to get over, slides across, and uses that left shoulder to keep Ekholm's attempt out. I think Ekholm thought he scored too.
Yeah, he just almost kissed the left side of the bar as that went out. And Tanev, again, doing what he always does, Cooper, on that side, diving to sell out and try to attempt to block a shot. 3-2 is the shots on goal here. Again, it could be more of some of these near misses. There's been some rushes, been a great pace. Last start for Vladar was a 3-1 loss. He made 29 saves against the Oilers on January 20th. That's the last time they played on that side. As this is the Flames now. This will be tipped. Backlund now able to pick this one up near the left side dot, tries to get a backhand on Skinner, as we'll see who picks it up now. MacKenzie, Weegar. It's Mangiapane. Mangiapane spins, leaves it here for Weegar. Weegar patient. Mangiapane extra pass, good give. Mangiapane walks in and shoots, and a good stop for Skinner. Man, it looked like time stood still there for about 5 seconds. As Mangiapane here for Skinner now, and they'll settle it down, but you don't often see that. As this is RNH Now back toward the Flames defense with Kris 12-10 left to go in the first round. With you alongside Alec, Nava, and Cooper Hopkins. You got the trio in for this Battle of Alberta, and you'd love to see that. Chance toward the net. Skinner was down, as this is picked up now for Connor Zary. This gets tipped out in front of the circles, and now Connor McDavid off his back skate. It's Bouchard. Edmonton just trying to get settled. Connor Zary says none of that. Zary now. We'll just ship it ahead. Yegor Sharangovich takes a look. Sharangovich forced the steal. Connor McDavid, look out here. He's got the steal. He's going to flip this in. Don't know if he's on the edge of his shift. He's just trying to get into an open area. As Edmonton will get it for Hyman. Picked up now for Hanifin. Good back passes. Flames can start this one in their own end. Here's Dewar. Full flight. Trying to get around Bouchard. Kevin Rooney now will take a look. Rooney loses the puck, and now it's the Oilers. We'll try to take this one left to right. Hyman. Patient near the right side. Dutch. Shillington. Good stick in the lane. 11-10. It's loose out in front of a pass. Couldn't get a stick on it. No call. This is the Flames. Get this out of their own end. Shillington. He's already got a few points since coming back. Rooney now puts it near the right side wall. And a long flip here for the Oilers. Settled down by the Flames. Connor Zary. Sauce pass. Marty Pospisil. That's in the back of the net. Top right corner.
Baby, you know I am smiling on the couch right now, boys. The Flames are playing like a team that, frankly, I can barely recognize. Simple passes, crisp plays, finding each other in space. Pospisil wires one across the glove side from the top of the circle. It's 2-0.
And he was so open down to high slot before ripping that top right corner. Connor Zary found the open Pospisil. Top shelf indeed. And let's not forget this, the Flames are 6-3-0 in their last 9. That's something to watch.
That is a fantastic shot. And when you're looking about some of the young guns here for the Flames and the new direction, again, that's got to make you feel good. Again, all of us very surprised what we're seeing right now. Another assist for Connor Zary. You're looking at that Calder watch. MacKenzie Weegar. Get this one now here for Rasmus Andersson. Shot toward the left side red line. Flames have taken a 2-0 lead. We're almost halfway through the first, as it's 5 shots on goal to 3. And Stuart Skinner, we talk about the last few games and some of these trends. His numbers have not been very good. We know Edmonton can punch back on offense with the best in the league on that side. But you're starting to have some of those times when you're down and you go off sides here. Not a good start for Edmonton against Calgary. You know, they want this. This is their 3rd meeting.
Yeah, guys, you know it. And John, you just touched on it right there as we got to the end of play before the whistle. But my goodness, listen, I don't know. There aren't many goaltenders that are going to stop that shot from Pospisil. He wired that thing. But we can talk about Skinner, and if this continues to be the Achilles heel, meaning the goaltending for the Edmonton Oilers as we get to our longer break.
It makes you think about the situation for Marc-Andre Fleury being his last year. You want to put him in cup contention. I'm just throwing that out there as well. But Skinner has been a good piece, but not of late, as it's Huberdeau near the right side. That's a wired pass, and a good job for Calgary just to funnel this back in. Brett Kulak will stop. He almost stumbled in behind his own net as Sharangovich was there. And now you got to be careful if you're the Flames. Make sure you want to hold on to this 2-goal lead. You want to keep that at least going into the end of the first. We still got halfway to go, though, as this is returned. This is bounced off the backboards and picked up here for Derek Ryan for a moment. Flames desperate to try to get this one out. They aren't able. Pinned against the wall. This will be picked up near the right side. Fired at the net. Vladar able to cancel it off. I'm not sure how he saw it. Pascal was also right there. And now the Flames will go ahead and make this back pass. And they will take an extra breath, as it's Pascal now, the Vegas Golden Knight waiver claim pickup. 9 minutes left to go in the first. I got the trio here with me on the cast on the spaces in the YouTube side. This will be blown dead against Calgary. Get a stoppage at 9:01.
Yeah, the pass was too far. That resulted into icing and headed for Coleman.
Yeah, interesting times here, guys. This is a Flames team that looks very, very motivated, and it's the classic stuff. They're moving their skates. They're supporting each other in space, willing to break out quickly, not afraid to make the stretch pass, but also not afraid to make multiple passes. They're doing it every which way right now, and we'll see if they can continue this level of play for the next 8 minutes and about 9 minutes or so here.
Defensive zone draw here for the Flames. We are in Edmonton right now in this Battle of Alberta. Again, the 3 of 4 meetings. Again, you got one more upcoming after this. A little bit later in the regular season as this is spun around now near the right side red line. Be chipped. Mangiapane will watch. And this will be the captaincy in Backlund. Coleman now near the right side. This is baseball style deflected. Backlund put it toward the net. I'm not sure how that didn't find Mangiapane. That could have been 3-0. But he was wiped out near the left post. Coleman finds the entry. He's got 4 Oilers on him, and he'll make this pass toward the middle. The Oilers now get this into the neutral zone, try to spank this off the wall, and this is picked up here for Rooney now. Coleman have to use his body to hold off RNH. Coleman trying to keep it alive. Good work here for Blake as this goes to Weegar now. Weegar, here's a chance. There's a blocker save for Skinner. And this is wrapped back around the embankment as it's Perry who loses the puck. And Rooney now try to send this one in deep near the left side. One-timer off the outside of the post for Dewar. As this is picked up here for the Oilers. Oilers now will flip this one down. As this will be recollected here for the Flames defense. You really have to like the way they've played in this first. 7:40 left to go in it. Nazem Kadri, number 91. Cross pass. That's a good stick in the lane to deny an opportunity as this goes near the left side dot now. Oilers, they're chasing this. They're trying to get it into the defensive end. Nazem Kadri, look at that defensive effort. Gets the stick lift. Gets in the zone now. Kadri, drop pass, just holding the blue line for Rasmus Andersson. It's Zary near the left dot. Flames, here's a sauce pass, and we get a whistle, a penalty against the Oilers. And now Pospisil trying to make sure he gets his presence felt.
Already up a goal, already wanting to draw a fight, and already a power play for the Flames is a good start for Calgary.
Yeah, interesting sequence right there, guys. So we hit another commercial break here, so we have a moment to maybe go over this. John, I think you might have noticed, Alec, maybe you did too, a couple of Flames put their gloves up in the air in protest. I think they thought the whistle came too early. They were arguing that the Oilers did not have full possession of the puck, which then was touched up for the penalty call. I listen, bias aside, I actually tend to agree. I think the Flames got that pass through the slot and were able to maintain possession without the Oilers really getting a hold of that thing. Not sure if you saw that as well.
Definitely saw a little bit of that there, Cooper, on that side. I agree with you. We're going to see what happens here on this power play for the Flames. I know that we talked about a little bit that the Flames power play can sometimes leave a little bit to be desired, but their penalty kill has been absolutely spectacular, and that's definitely probably going to come into play in this game.
I would certainly think so. And listen, I'm very encouraged by the way they've been playing 5-on-5. There haven't really been a ton of clean chances at the Oilers' offensive end. I mean, listen, they're going to get their opportunities. It's the Edmonton Oilers. Let's not kid ourselves. But the Flames have come out and looked more like the Oilers that we're used to seeing than the Oilers have even looked like the Oilers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you mentioned penalty kill, 83% for the Flames in terms of penalty killing. But this may be a role reversal. Did someone use the reverse card around here?
That's what it certainly seems like, gentlemen. We'll give you the scoring recap as the Flames are going on the power play. Nazem Kadri is 21st. Walker Dewar and Noah Hanifin pick up the assist. And at the 9-11 marker, Marty Pospisil from Connor Zary and Braden Paschal gets his first assist. For the Flames, it's a 2-0 lead. And the Oilers, it looks like Zach Hyman, the U of M man, is in the box. I'm taking a look at it right now, and a stick in the hands of Kadri. He can't do that. He's going to get busted for a hook.
Well, John, we're about to get this face-off in the ozone for the Flames. Let's see how they do with the extra man here. I'd be curious to see if maybe Kadri going to continue that hawk streak and maybe put another one in the net.
Kadri is one of those ones, at least in the face-off dot. He's been excellent in the games that I've watched as well over the last few weeks. He gets this one. Sharangovich near the left side. We'll get this one back as we'll get this near the left side bumper. Here's a sauce pass. Sharangovich somehow able to keep it alive as it's Pospisil. Have to use the embankment here. The Oilers, there's a stick that's broken, I believe, or at least got a stick chop. It's Kadri near the right side dot. Flames still with it. And Weegar nowhere near that pass attempt. So the Oilers will catch a break. They're going to have to make a couple quick changes if they choose to do so. Kadri with a floating pass. It's MacKenzie Weegar. Pick it up across the Oilers logo. 1 for 15 in the last 5 games at 6.5% are the Flames power play. But their penalty kill, we talked about, That has been the big boon for them, and they're going to need that in this game, no doubt, as it's Hanifin now. Huberdeau, the penalty kill 4 for 4 last night against Minnesota, but that didn't get them the win. Again, they are coming off a back-to-back, which is good for the Flames. Again, they should have the fresher legs here, as it's Coleman near the left side boards. Coleman picks it back up. They'll just put a pass near the right side red line in between the legs. Hanifin trying to get the first to it. Flames will keep it in. The Oilers run the forecheck trying to break out of their own end. It's Coleman now near the left side dot. Flames with the puck. They just haven't gotten shots yet on this power play. As it's Zary near the left side dot. Behind the cage is Skinner. Zary near the left bumper. They'll get this back for Rasmus Andersson. 5:40 left to go in the first. Zary short side angle chance. And this will go right to the Oilers on defense, which will allow them to clear it down the ice. By the time Weegar touches this, Calgary is going to have one more rush on the power play side before it ends. But they got a 9-4 edge on the shot board. They're up 2-0 against the Oilers right now in Edmonton, as this is picked up near the right side dot. This is Rooney with a chance. That one gets fired wide. Shillington watching. Peltier, sweet move off the stop and turn. Shillington holds. Oilers turn it back to full strength, and now they'll steal the puck. 5-on-5 as it's Hyman off the bench now. Got to be careful. He's got the speed to definitely get something done. 4:55 left to go in the first. Flames will pick this up here for Dewar. Now and across. They'll make this pass and take a couple changes here for Ryan Huska's squad. Enter here for Hyman off the half spin. Needs reinforcements. It's Bouchard. Pin near the right side wall now, the lead line. It's Kane. Draisaitl now. Draisaitl, what a pass. Near the left dot, give it, go! Oh, it doesn't go! As this goes near the left side dot, that must have got shot high. Sharangovich now. Skinner, I can't believe that didn't go in the back of the net. Draisaitl, pick it up. Flames steal. What an effort there for Hunt. As this goes near the left side red line. And now the Flames. Backlund forces it. He's got it near the right side. What a drop pass. Hanifin! He scores!
Oh, my goodness. Alec, I'm going to let you jump in here. I don't want to step all over you guys, but what a sequence. We're getting the replay right now on my side of the Sportsnet. The Draisaitl shot past the diving Bouchard. That might have gone off his skate. It should have been 2-1. The entire cage was open. Flames come down the other side, making a change, and Hanifin with the silky mitts. My goodness, it's 3-0, boys.
Jump in, Alec.
Oh, we're both not sure how that wasn't going into net for Draisaitl. Again, the entire net open. I don't know what in the world happened for it to get over at the top and over, but Noah Hanifin made no mistake going far side on the shot through the other direction with such speed. It's been all Flames in this first period. We're not even at the end of the first. Whew.
I should say I'm sorry to both of you boys for taking the first period. I might get the course of action, and it's still not ending. Mangiapane, as that one goes wide. Hopefully you got the last 40 for both of you to pick this one back up again, but I'm enjoying what I'm watching, and I bet all of you are too. As this sent around near the left side dot, Mangiapane, as this is picked up now for the Flames. Good pass near the right side dot. Here's a chance for Backlund, but just too far off the outstretched stick. Backlund toward the net. Skinner, off of a glove attempt, will pick it back up. And I wonder what's going through Stuart Skinner's mind. Noah Hanifin celebrates. We go to break. It's 3-0 Flames.
Yeah, look, guys, this is just the right time, at least for me, for a commercial break, because I need to reset my expectations. I came into this thing thinking we might be in for a bumpy ride, at least by we, I mean the Flames fans, Flames Nation. My goodness, there got to be big smiles ear to ear everywhere, and I am no exception. This is quite a level of play from Calgary. And John, look, we say it every time we're on a broadcast. We've covered so much of the Flames.
Mm-hmm.
This type of play tonight is frankly not what I have been accustomed to. Tell me if I'm crazy, but we're looking at really sharp, not only decisions, but the actual play with the skates, the sticks, supporting each other, moving to get into space. We're talking blind passing, Mangiapane almost made it 4-0. Let's not go over that or go past that.
Mm-hmm.
Alec, how are you feeling, my friend? I mean, I know you're an East Coast guy here, but Western Canadian hockey's delivering tonight.
So far, it has been, especially for the Flames. They're coming out like, as you mentioned, they're looking more like the Oilers, and the Oilers have been looking like the Oilers tonight. It's just the first period. We're not even close to finishing it, or we are close to finishing it. But I had to be reminded of that sequence. Have you ever? Well, as Darren Walter was saying, no, I never. Filling up my joy.
No, because when you think about the Draisaitl situation, that could have definitely gone one way or the other. And Cooper, to match what you were just talking about, again, we've covered so many of these, and we've seen the Flames really take it to some primetime opponents, and we've seen them, as we talked about a little bit last week, in the Red Wings loss. Well, you also had the loss against the Sharks. You go up, you go down on the roller coaster with the Flames, but when they play like this, and I mentioned to you the playoff word a few times, and I don't think you and I really bat eyes at each other, but we see it. There's just the potential that the Flames can show you, isn't it?
It definitely is. I mean, we have lots to talk about all three of our favorite teams here, but I'm just glad, yet again, we have all three of us together getting a good hockey game, although I think Oilers fans might disagree. But you know that Edmonton is going to push to try to break that goose egg before they get to the room.
So let's pick this one back up. I got about 3 minutes left to go in the first, and I'll leave it to the other gentlemen, Alec, Nava, and Hopkins, to call this if they all want to take a period in here. And I feel like I've gotten the most action, but I'm really enjoying it because I really wanted to see what the Flames were going to do in this Battle of Alberta, especially dropping the first couple results. And make no mistake about it, when we talk about the Heritage Classic, both of these teams were kind of going south. As far as the standings, the teams were beat up. You weren't sure what you were going to see. And now you have some changes on the other side for Craig Conroy's squad and some pretty good trade pickups to get through some of the youth movement alongside the core that's there for tree living. And this is just a different situation for both of these teams. Penalty hands in the air. So this will be for an Edmonton power play once Calgary touches it. So if they're going to open the door right now, they better do so with 2:18 in the first.
Let's not forget about last year with how good the team been on the power plays. Evander Kane, I don't know if he sold the trip, but Rasmus Andersson definitely got a stick in the way there. But the way that Kane reacted, I don't know if Kane sold it or if he was legitimately tripped up by Andersson. But no matter what, that is a drawn penalty.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see how the Flames respond here. A little adversity. I think it's just some bad luck for Andersson. I'm not sure if Kane sold it or not, but the stick blade did get into those skates. He goes down. It's that simple. Flames have the 5th-ranked penalty kill. They're going to need to perform here.
So Oilers will win this offensive zone draw. McDavid, Draisaitl, and company go to work. They're 22.7% on the power play, so not the historic first, but they're still fourth. And the penalty kill, as Cooper said, for the Flames are 5th. So good units on both ends. We'll see what happens here. Good bounce pass near the left side boards as the Oilers try to use the bumper. And this could be a 2-on-1 if not for the late arriving back check. This is Rooney now. Again, for the Flames, they're a really good shorthanded unit as well. They can put the puck in the back of the net. 125 left to go on the power play, about an 18-second difference from the game clock. It's Draisaitl. Weegar gets taken down. This is near the right side. They're not shooting him. McDavid, cross pass, and now it's in the back of the net. What is happening?
Again, I'll say, have you ever?
Yeah, this is a wild sequence here, guys. I think this is probably going to stand, but we got a lot going on as Draisaitl gets driven into Weegar. Weegar puts his hands up. Multiple Flames expecting the play to be whistled dead. Draisaitl's got snow all over him. Then Hyman just whacking away as Weegar's down. Penalty killers diving everywhere. That was a huge collision. I'm surprised play was allowed to continue, but continue it did. And Hyman just made up for being in the box earlier by scoring the first goal of the night for the home Edmonton Oilers.
I think
I'll be surprised here if the Flames do challenge this. I don't think they're going to challenge this in any regard. No signal from Ryan Huska. I don't think they're challenging it because Draisaitl was driven to Weegar, so no goaltender interference. In the case that Huska was challenging, I felt that this might be a bad call from him.
Man, Draisaitl and Weegar, that was more air than Shark Week. That point, 35th of the season, 1829 on the power play from McDavid and Bouchard. McDavid, 65th assist of the year. Now the Oilers rushing back the other way. As this is gloved down, you kind of wonder if that power play is going to open this last minute for the Flames. You want to keep at least a 2-goal lead. This is iced, but I've never seen a collision like that. And even look at it the other way. When McDavid touched the puck, he didn't even know that Vladar was out of the goal crease for about 6 seconds.
Oh, that was so crazy.
Yeah, boy, you know what I'll say? The only thing that I will say is it looked like Draisaitl may have lifted an elbow right
Yes.
to the mask area of Dan Vladar. Now, I'm not looking to vilify anyone, and I think he was probably bracing for impact, but not a great situation right there. That replay makes it look a little questionable. Now, I'm a few seconds ahead of you boys. I know we had play resume. Players coming together. The Battle of Alberta. Let's put battle in italics. Things getting hot here, guys.
Yeah, that was a good call for you, Cooper, there on that side, because I definitely saw the elbow, and now we get some holding. Kadri in there as well with Hanifin, and now some fists. Jump in here, Alec.
Yeah, some fist bumps between both sides. We mentioned this earlier. We would not be surprised if we see the gloves drop between two guys. Maybe Corey Perry could get in a little scrap later on. We know that he's one of the better fierce players in his career. Would not be surprised if he drops the gloves at one time.
This is a big minute here, isn't it, for Dan Vladar, Cooper?
Yeah, no question about it, guys. I think Vladar, like a lot of goaltenders, he's got that steely demeanor. He's going to have to step up big here. The Flames, I wouldn't say they're shaky right now, but you have allowed blood to be drawn, and the Oilers, you know, they're going to be like piranhas in the water here.
Oh, here's a good block out in front by Noah Hanifin for Draisaitl, set up for McDavid. Tanev now puts us around the inboards. 45 seconds left to go in the first. Bouchard around the embankment, too far for Fogle. Spun around a couple times. Number 97 trying to locate this puck. Mangiapane will get it now for the Flames. Mangiapane trying to turn on the burners, trying to get around a couple players. This will fall to Draisaitl. Good stick work here for the Flames. And a high hit. Mangiapane forces steal. This is with the Flames now. They'll take this blue line away. Does Rasmus Andersson pick it up down to the left side red line and fire it in? Everybody get back on side. And now Andersson toward the players' bench gets all tied up with McDavid, and we get some whistles.
Oh, this could get ugly. He's already getting ugly. That's far time. Who's going to drop the gloves here? Who's going to get into a fight? No signal yet.
What are you seeing, Cooper?
Yeah, I'm seeing what you are. It's just players coming together. It looks like Kane is not too happy. Anderson's right in the mix on this thing. And I'm trying to see who's going to the bench. That's Fogle. So just a massive humanity here. All these pro hockey players getting into the mix. And, yeah, Rasmus Andersson has definitely had a chip on his shoulder tonight. Blake Coleman was in there, and he has a veteran presence trying to separate Draisaitl. I think both teams just want to get to the dressing rooms here, especially the Flames. You don't want to get too distracted by the fisticuffs, guys. You want to keep that lead, keep pressing, and try to get that 3-goal lead back.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, as we got a great helmet cam from the Sportsnet feed. Connor McDavid, I mean, I don't normally see him get that physical with Rasmus Andersson, but he had a bug there. He was a little upset.
Yeah, you feel there's a little bump and run between McDavid and Andersson, like what is described in NASCAR, bump and runs. Like they slow down the car, he might have slowed down both of them at the same time.
Hey, you'll take this if you're Calgary, won't you? It's Rasmus Andersson in the box, but Connor McDavid is taking a seat.
Yep, absolutely. More room on the ice now, 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. So the very end of this first period, plus a nice chunk of the beginning of the second. And McDavid off the ice. Yeah, you'll take that all day.
Nazem Kadri, neutral zone draw against RNH. Kadri wins another one. He's been so good in the circle. 22 game home point streak for McDavid. He's extended that already. Kadri gets upended. More pushing toward the bench. They're going to have to blow this whistle here. The camera cut. They're probably just going to end this first.
Well, I feel it's a merciful signing for the referees. I feel they can just take a breather in between intermissions, but not before this sequence of fisticuffs. Steve Barch and Derek Nazem are linesmen. Dan O'Rourke, Kendrick Nicholson are referees. They're going to be having a handful on everyone here.
Yeah, very interesting moment here, too, as Kadri stumbles while being separated by one of the officials. And Kadri, I believe, had words with that referee. There seemed to be an intense moment between those two. That's something to keep an eye on. Now, I'm things from his own bench. The players will not leave the ice, gentlemen. What a night here. Lots to talk about. This is a battle of Alberta for memory. This one is going to be going in the history books no matter what. And that's after one period.
Yeah, again, I'm glad you said it just like that. We had a 13-game night in the NHL, and dare I say, the last one here might be the spiciest, and that is saying a lot considering what we've had taken place. As players are still talking with the referees, the camera has not cut away, and now we're finally, at least on the Flames bench, starting to get players going into the dressing room. But again, as Cooper said, Alec, just 20 minutes of play, 3-1 after one. Hyman does get a power play goal, but let's not mince words here. That was a very good 20 minutes for the Calgary Flames.
Very good indeed, especially the 5-on-5 side. Making a simple plays, making a smart plays. That's Calgary Flames hockey, and effectively defending your own end. Even though they gave that one power play marker to the Oilers, that go at this point you can say it's just one goal, but you have to protect the lead.
Yeah, I think so. And that, Alec, you sort of inadvertently bring up a good point there, where it's now we have to think about the Flames' mentality. They're getting pulled into some of these physical altercations. That can take away from your focus on maintaining your lead. And then the question, it deserves to be asked. Is this a situation where you can protect the lead? Maybe not. It is the Edmonton Oilers. Now they have broken away from that shutout. They've broken through that pane of glass, so to speak, and now they're on the other side of it. So the Flames will need to return to the mentality that they showed, especially in the first 10 minutes. Would you say, John? I think that remaining mentally locked in is going to be at a premium tonight. I think the team that can stay focused the longest will end up coming away with this victory. And even though it's 3-1, you have to give the Oilers their credit, because this game, as it got closer to the end of the first, felt a little bit more balanced. My last comment, Alec, I love what you pointed out. The 5-on-5 play definitely goes to the Flames, at least in that first period. So lots to think about, John. Where are you sitting after a crazy day in hockey, especially for your Red Wings, in a very positive way, my friend?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just lead into that since you gave me the chance. It was a 6-1 victory over the Blues. It was the best that I've seen them look all year, going through some of those highlights. And how very interesting is this when I catch back up with you on the Thursday side? And we were talking about some losses. Oh, the Flames of the Sharks. Again, the Red Wings to the Oilers and the Canucks. Didn't feel too good on that side. And I mentioned to you that the next couple games between the Flames and the Kraken were must-wins. Well, then they double that up. They get wins over those two and the Avs, and now the Blues. Mickey Redmond said it on the broadcast today. If it was the Red Wings beating the Avalanche, he had them listed as a playoff team. And dare I say, if they play like this, Cooper, they are going to make the playoffs, and they might ruffle some feathers.
I hope that the Red Wings make it into the playoffs to snap that playoff drought. This is going to be a feel-good moment for the Red Wings. And these last few games, some high hopes for them, especially taking down the Avalanche in overtime, set up by Dylan Larkin, and then Patrick Kane finished it. And now you go on with a six-burger on the Blues, even though Zach Bolduc had his first career NHL goal. Alex DeBrincat with the spotlight, 2 goals and assists. I talked with Patrick earlier today about the Red Wings' dominant victory. He is happy with what he sees.
You have to be. And on that side, you kind of wonder if you're Steve Eisman. Look, I had some thoughts. If the Red Wings situation went south, I'm not saying they would. So I know it's going to be sacrilege and Red Wings fans will be mad at me. But you have to think about it. If it went south, what would you do with David Perron, Patrick Kane, Shane Gostisbehere, some of these other RFAs that are going to be there? Right now, if you're Stevie Y, I think you pretty much just stand pat at the deadline unless you get something that you really like, because you really don't want to mess with the team chemistry right now.
Yeah, that's a great point, John, especially after you dial up 6 goals against a decent Blues team. And, man, did the Red Wings look good. Nearly kept that shutout. Doesn't matter, though. You know you're going into the locker room happy when the whistle goes, the horn sounds at the end of the third, and they certainly are on a wonderful trajectory. But just to bring it back to the game that we're watching, lots and lots to talk about. Do you think that any of the goals the Flames scored, up to 3 in the first period, are any of those quote-unquote on Stuart Skinner. I wouldn't say the Pospisil one is, because that was just dialed up for the top corner. That kind of a wrist shot from that close. I'm not sure who's stopping that thing, but any of the others do you think qualify as maybe a question mark for Skinner, or do you think that was just the Flames being the Flames and taking it to him?
I'm going to jump in here 1 second, Alec, on this side, and I'll leave you the floor, because I wouldn't say it's on Skinner here, Cooper, but I would say it's on the Oilers' defense. I know it's off a back-to-back, but you know it's a desperate Flames team going in that wants to get this W, and it looks like the Flames, within the first 10 minutes, as you said, jumped all over them, and they were ready to play in this game.
Yeah, they were. They were ready to play the Oilers. You can make the argument they had this date circled on their calendar, February 24th, and they came out swinging at the Oilers. Well, figuratively and later, literally.
Yeah, no question about it, guys. I mean, that is so true. There's going to be so much of interest to look at when they come back onto the ice. I'm wondering, makes me think back a couple of years when the Flames started a game. I'm trying to remember. John, you might remember. Alec, maybe you do too. It was like at the beginning of a game, the Flames and I think the Canucks went into a full line brawl to like start the game. And maybe I'm the only one who remembers that because of my fandom. But I think that is on the table. That could be in the cards. If these teams come back out, maybe we're going to have 10 sets of gloves dropped, and maybe it'll be 12 if the goalies get into it. It's going to get wild.
Well, let's lean into that here, Cooper, on this side, because I know you gentlemen saw this. I threw this out on the post-game after, too. Did you happen to see the scrap between Matt Rempe of the New York Rangers and Nick Deslauriers of the Philadelphia Flyers? I mean, that set you back about 40 years ago. That was a heavyweight bout.
Oh, you have me reminded of UFC now. That definitely was a heavyweight between two of the biggest men. Even though Deslauriers, he is half a foot shorter than Rempe, he plays like he is a heavyweight and one of the tallest players. He plays bigger than how he is based on his physicality. But mad respect to Matt Rempe. Even though Deslauriers, he won the fight by rule, Rempe delivered him a really good beating. He got bruised up at the forehead, as I was saying. And not to mention, Rempe, his first career goal is a game winner.
Pretty good start for the young man.
Yeah, John, just wild stuff. It does take me back. I'm aging myself here a little bit, but yeah, I remember having fights like that a lot more often. Just dropping those gloves, sizing each other up, keeping it on the feet for, I think it was about 60 seconds with haymaker after haymaker after haymaker. Plus, the old fight strap, I'm not sure if it broke, wasn't attached, or just didn't do its job. When Rempe's sweater comes up over the dome, the helmets were off by that point. It didn't take too much longer. They both go down after that. And man, oh man, yeah, Alec, you said it. I think it was, you name it. I mean, they should have gotten Bruce Buffer out there. Are you ready to rumble? Let's get ready. I mean, it was good stuff. And that one will be on highlight reels for a long time. Yeah, it's like it was 35 years ago. Crazy.
The undercard would be Anthony Mantha and Nick Cousins. If you saw that one today, Anthony Mantha got a good few punches in on Cousins, who's not very well liked around the league. Again, there was a pretty good ending to that game again for Florida against Washington. Gustav Forsling made the play of the day. It was a 3-on-1 for the Caps. Sonny Milano gets dispossessed of the puck. Forsling gets a stick lift and then gets his burners on the other end for a back pass, one-timer feed and a goal. And Florida wins again. They get a 3-2 W over the Caps in OT.
Nice overtime victory for the Panthers. The comeback Cats, as you will. No, even though they were down by one, it still counts considering that they tied up late in the third period. The Panthers going back and forth with the Bruins, who we'll mention later on. Well, still, that puts the Panthers, I'm not sure if they're in the division lead right now, but they do have tiebreaker over the Bruins based on regulation wins.
We will get that settled, Alec. I'll jump in there for a second there for a couple more minutes. We're looking at the Green Men on Sportsnet. They were enjoying themselves in Vancouver. But the one I wanted to throw to you, Cooper, on this end for the scoreboard, because Alec and I did mention this. I saw you mention something in the X and Twitter feed for me for Austin Matthews. It's a heavyweight matchup again this time on the ice between Toronto and Colorado. and the Maple Leafs are playing some good hockey. And at the end of it, Tyler Bertuzzi ends up getting the game winner as Toronto takes it 4-3 over the Avs.
Yeah, I mean, look, that Toronto team is really starting to put something together here. And not that it's just now happening. I mean, they're basically they've doubled up their losses in the win column, and they're looking like it's a team, John, that's I think ready to move forward. Obviously, they have now broken that long-time curse that was basically a couple of decades. Couldn't win the playoff round. They finally get the playoff round win. This type of play against a still very solid Colorado team, one that we were just talking about. I'm just going to keep it simple with the way that Marner's playing. Matthews looks like a man possessed. I mean, this is a team, John, that I think has real potential to win more than just a single playoff round this year. Do you think I'm nuts, or do I have something on my hands here?
No, I think you do. And Alec, I want to throw this to you here because guess who got unlocked today with the hat? Tyler Bertuzzi.
There you have it, Tyler Bertuzzi, game-winning goal. I may have mentioned this before, but it's worth mentioning again. They need more of him. 3 goals in the game. That is nice stuff from Bertuzzi, and we need this more and more from Bertuzzi if the Maple Leafs were to get to the conference final, which was my prediction at the beginning of the season, where they would meet the New Jersey Devils and lose. Well, the Devils' prediction is aging like milk now. The Maple Leaf prediction, well, not so much. Still up there.
I think Alec agrees with you here, Cooper. I think I'm going to jump on board as well. I say they win a couple rounds and they'll get to the conference final. I like what the Maple Leafs are doing right now. They're playing the best hockey they've played all year.
Yeah, absolutely, boys. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the East. I mean, I'm literally just looking at the standings right now, and I will admit, John, because of our partnership and working on this, and I know you guys talk about the Red Wings, we already did, but it's so nice. It's so nice to see them above. Can you believe it? Can you believe they're above the Tampa Bay, the vaunted, the legendary Tampa Bay Lightning? The Red Wings taking their rightful spot right there. But, yeah, those Caps, of course, losing today, that's not what they're looking for, but they are still right on the cusp. A lot of chatter around the Carolina Hurricanes as well. You know, I'm interested to see. They're kind of sitting in that middle ground. I don't mean to single out a team here, but the Hurricanes, I think a lot of media, a lot of fans thought that the Hurricanes might make a push and be in a spot where maybe the Rangers or the Bruins are, which is basically leading the East in points. But those Hurricanes, very, very solid. Any thoughts on the Carolina play of late? Because I'm looking to them to still be a sneaky play in the playoffs, guys.
Go ahead, Alec.
It's this December. They start off slow, but they're getting hot at the right time. Carolina, they're finding their goaltender from Fyodor Kochetkov and Spencer Martin. Even though Freddie Anderson, Antti Ranta, they've been out for longer stretches. Anderson more so, and Ranta, he was sent down wave onto the minors. But Carolina getting back on track, needing the guys to produce, especially the free agent acquisitions. Michael Bunting, Dmitry Orlov, especially with Sebastian Aho heating up. Well, they were coming off that shutout over the Florida Panthers where it was basically frantic all game long. All sorts of nerves for 59 minutes, 40 seconds, no goals until Sebastian Aho.
And you got to feel like, Alec, that one meant a little bit more for the Hurricanes considering what happened in the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it meant more to it. Some sweet revenge. Maybe a playoff series on the horizon between them. We're just not sure because it's still anyone's conference final team.
Yeah, guys. So look, I'm still taking a look at the standings here. Now flipping back over to the Western Conference. I will say, now look, I feel like the discussion around them has quieted a little bit. Now, and I don't mean quiet as if they're being forgotten. You certainly can be when you have 82 points and are one of the top teams across the entire NHL and certainly in the Western Conference. But those Vancouver Canucks, Alec, John, I mean, they just continue to do their thing. They have looked really, really strong. I don't see that changing. And I can't believe I'm even asking the question. Look, I thought they were going to take a big step this year. I'm going to go all the way. Let's get dramatic with it. Are the Vancouver Canucks in line to potentially make an appearance in your minds in the Stanley Cup final this year?
I'm going to say it, Cooper, and I'll say it right out in front before Alec even jumps in. Yes, I feel like they can come out of the West. The one team that I like out of the West, as long as they're healthy, again, it's probably going to be the Vegas Golden Knights, but they might meet up in the second round, depending on the way that goes. But I think the Canucks have the ability to do it all. Filip Hronek's been a good pickup. He gets the game tire. You still have Hughes. You got Pettersson. Besser did excellent today in the game winner. I think they have what it takes. I just think they got to avoid what Edmonton does at time to time where they get into the goal-scoring race. If they can lock a little bit more down on defense, I really like them to come out of the West.
You know, I may be with you in the sense about Vancouver being the best all-around team in the Western Conference. Offense, defense, goaltending, you name it, they've got it all. The Golden Knights, if they're fully healthy, it could be that one team that can stop them. But another team that can look at, if it's either Dallas or Winnipeg, maybe they have the tools to stop Vancouver in the conference final if they even get to that point. Because in Colorado, they're not out of it, but I lean more towards the Jets in a first-round match between them and the Avalanche or the Stars for that case. But the Canucks, realistically, they are Stanley Cup contenders and even go all the way. We haven't seen a Canadian team win it since the Habs in '93.
I mean, if we got to that situation, it would likely be Toronto and Vancouver. I don't know if that's what we'll get in the East, but I will double down here with you, Cooper, as you said. I like Vancouver, and I think only if not for the Golden Knights, I can take them going the whole way.
Boy, I can only imagine what Canadian hockey fans, what the
right.
emotions that would course through their veins if that scenario comes to pass. If it is Vancouver versus Toronto, East versus West, and we're talking north of the border, baby. That would be an all-Canadian final. They'd be guaranteed to have a Canadian team back on the Stanley Cup after so long. I mean, heck, I thought it was going to be, I always reference it whenever I get the chance. You know me, that 2004 run, the glorious run, Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final, Flames and Lightning. I'll never forget it. I was there for one of the games. It was a heck of an experience. And so that, even then, was 10 years out from that Habs win, and it was not meant to be so close. And I think, let's see, the Oilers have come close. They lost to the Hurricanes. I'm trying to think of the other Canadian teams along the road that have come close. Vancouver, 2011. They were so close and got it pulled away from them. So close, guys, that they started a riot. Because they were so close and thought it was a done deal. And Milan Lucic and the Bruins way back when took care of business in Vancouver. But yes, I think just thinking about that scenario of a double Canadian Stanley Cup final, hey, I'm an American guy all the way, but I grew up close enough to Canada that would be pretty cool for them. Selfishly, I wish it had been or would be the Calgary Flames. But, man, the fact that we're even talking about it, pretty special year for some Canadian teams for sure.
Yeah, and I would say even for the three of us, when you get into the Stanley Cup final side, that'd be an awesome thing for us to broadcast.
Oh, for sure. And we can't wait for that.
So,
yeah, no question, guys. We'd have to get the trio together. It couldn't just be Alec John. It couldn't just be Coop John. It couldn't just be Coop Alec. We got to get the whole gang going.
So let's get into a couple more finals here. Again, we're getting through some Flames quotes on this side for Markstrom, talking about the elite goaltending. I did want to go through the scoreboard, but now I'm looking at this again, and I think I need to pivot. Is Vladar starting today because they want to give him some time, or is Markstrom sitting down because of some deadline concerns, Sir Cooper? Do you know?
From what I understand, I do not believe it is deadline concerns. I don't think that the plan is that he would be dealt. My understanding is that he's coming back. He was, remember, injured. I think it was a hand injury in practice a little while ago. That may have been tweaked. It's not serious, but they don't want to exacerbate the issue. So Vladar gets to start tonight. That's just my understanding.
You guys want to take the second period? You want to go here, Alec, and have Cooper finish it, or how do you want to do it?
I'll go ahead with the second period. Off the bat, no one had it. He smoked one. So on to the second period. We are playing 4-on-4 hockey. Still, at the second period, I'm Alec, Nava, John Ott, Cooper Hopkins with me. Glad to have you guys here to continue on this Battle of Alberta. We have a stoppage here as this shot went up into the
tonight, guys. He took advantage of that extra space. He is doing what Zadorov used to do for the Flames. Defenseman acting like an offense guy. He put one on right there from point blank.
And already Hanifin inside, and again, one time he shot out the face-off, and that stopped.
Yeah, these look so good in this game as far as all the rest of the Flames. Again, as you mentioned, with that fully loaded penalty box, there is no number 91 on the ice, so you kind of wonder sometimes. I ask, who does it favor? Flames have an opportunity to take advantage here with 121 on the 4-on-4 as we're just starting the second period.
Yeah, 91 is out there for the Flames for this face-off. Offensive zone, false start. Sharangovich will take his place. Darnell Nurse is in the penalty box for the Flames. For the Flames, there's Jonathan Huberdeau in the penalty box because of that scrap to end off the period. So, four-side for 110 as Sharangovich taps it backwards in exits his zone. Draisaitl tangled up by Hanifin, and immediately this goes to the Flames the other way. Trying to poke this one away with Nugent-Hopkins. Canada said no to that one as he stayed with it, spinning around and exiting his own zone. He'll have to retreat. 52 on the 4-on-4, and serving his options cross-ice pass, or guess who? 55 and the white, Hanifin. Up forward, the Flames enter and then exit out because there was nothing there. Evander came all over that. Can be an intimidator as seen in the last two sequences in that first period. Moving up now is Mangiapane. Delayed offside as Backlund thought about entering, but now we get the offside because one of the Flames jumped up in too early.
Yeah, so a bit of a choppy start here, though. A couple of opportunities for Calgary. It doesn't look, 4-on-4 is not your normal state of play. I'm going to be interested to see what these teams look like when they go back to 5-on-5, which they're 28 seconds away from.
So out this face-up, it is the Edmonton Oilers on the draw. Both sides on the Heritage Classic jersey. Coleman escapes. Ekholm was tied up, and now Coleman goes down. Play on. Partial break, but the crowd loses it. At the far corner, one of the Flames gets dealt with first, and that was Weegar. Puck loose. Poked away by McLeod, but this will fall onto the lap of Vladar with 7 seconds to go on the 4-on-4. 18-20 second period.
So I know I just switched my feed in order to catch up to both of you boys there. Evander knows he had a chance near the right side red line, but Vladar able to stop that one. Thought there could have been a trip there as Kane had the pass ahead.
Yeah, we're getting right back to it here. There's the shot of that almost near breakaway that just missed the stick, and now we're back in the action. So, Alec, jump back in. We'll let you take it here.
Jack Hyman with control. High slot. Rebound loose. And that was cut off. One of the Flames got there. Now back on the McDavid. One-timer went over one of the sticks. That may have been MacKenzie. Weegar getting a pace. Hyman keeps. Skates around. Backlund's in on it. Left circle. Hyman fires. Weegar out all the way. And the play is whistled dead despite the fact that the puck came loose. I know some of the Oilers fans are not happy about that because the puck came loose. The officials have lost sight of it.
That was pretty close there. Cooper, you think on this side that Edmonton is kind of sensing the moment to start that second period. They want to get on the front foot. That was a couple good stops for Vladar and Hyman.
Yeah, deflection chance right in front that was barely tipped away by Vladar, and then a rebound chance that went begging. Yeah, the Oilers have come out looking like the stronger team here in the second. Flames still trying to find their game a little bit, looking a bit shakier to start, but they are bending, not breaking right now. We'll see how long that lasts.
And put Corey Perry on Draisaitl's slide. He is up front for a rebound attempt. That didn't go all the way through. Bouchard and a save by Vladar. Flames take up the rebound and keep this one across the red line. Can't enter the zone. And the Oilers send this all the way down onto Vladar. He is behind his net and hands off for Andersson just before the Oilers could take it away. Up the far side. Wing center. Desjardins over Zary. Now Kadri will backpedal a pass behind or shoot around over to Skinner, who hands this off over to Kulak. Brett Kulak in control. Line changes for both sides. They get Draisaitl back on. Fake pass for Draisaitl. Now over to the left. Kulak goes. R&H. Nothing there for the Oilers as Draisaitl gets tangled up. The Oilers regrouping because of this delayed offside. Nugent-Hopkins going over right, and then the return feed over to the near side, skating up the middle. Huberdeau in on him, and the play, long shot, sent on over to the near corner by Vladar. Ryan gets it right back on the return feed. For the near side, it goes over to Nurse. Deflected shot blocked in front. Not much of a lane there to shoot, though. And the Flames get this all the way out. Nurse, who's just completed his penalty. Over to Dylan Holloway, moving in with speed. Holloway slowed down, still with his puck. Can't get a tight angle shot to go. Killington, all wrapped up by Brown. They both go down. Bodies flying like bowling pins. Holloway, he fires, and he might have got swept off his feet as this shot goes all the way to the mesh.
Wow, guys, this is a big sequence right here. And taking a look at Draisaitl, he was having a chat with the trainer at the Edmonton bench. Didn't look like he had any major body contact right there, but potentially shaken up just a bit. He did go to the bench gingerly. Flames, again, still a little bit lucky here to have their 2-goal lead. There have been some quality chances, better than really any in the first for Edmonton here in the first 4 minutes of the second.
A good stick in the lane there against Holloway, and now Rooney is going to get taken on the circle. It's Pelche against McDavid. Take it away, Alec.
So after the false start off the face-off, it is Rooney against it's not Rooney against McDavid. It's Pelche against McDavid. A little bit of a slow start on the play-by-play, but it is Pelche winning the face-off. Flames grab their own end. Oilers get the takeaway. Puck loose, and it's Pelche picking this up. Back penalty for Hanifin, and now across for Tanev. Chris Tanev gets this all the way to center ice, but the Oilers pick it up. Send this back for McDavid as he gets the return feed. Moving on to center with speed, on to Bouchard. Bouchard enters. Bouchard fires. This one off the stick of Hanifin and up out of play into the mesh.
It's a good start here, Cooper, for Dan Vladar in this period. Again, we talked about it a little bit in the open. He's been tested quite a bit right now.
Yeah, he's been asked to do a lot more, really more here in this first 4.5, 5 minutes or so than I would say the majority of period number one. And, just a simple thing here for the Flames. They looked very, very confident in the first. I feel like the confidence level has dropped a bit, and so has the possession time. I think those things are tied together. We get the face-off, and that is going to be won and skated out by Calgary. Alec, take it away.
They're onto the zone here. The Oilers tied him up. McDavid and Draisaitl out on the ice at the same time. This is the combination of Dave Woodcock. He's very quickly. Hyman's inside. Hyman scores! On the backhand, shifting from the forehand. Zach Hyman gets his second and brings the Oilers within one.
Wow, dust that pass off from Connor McDavid to Hyman with a disgusting left in tight. And the Oilers now only down one. What a play. Coleman served McDavid his lunch, got the puck out anyway, and the Oilers score. That's a highlight sequence.
Yeah, you got to be kidding me right there, guys. McDavid gets body slammed by none other than Blake Coleman. Let me check my notes. Yes, Blake Coleman just body slammed McDavid. Fully legal. McDavid a little off balance. Coleman takes advantage of it, but on the fall, while dropping to the ice, McDavid flicks it out. He's going to get the second. Then that one's extended out to Hyman. Hyman does, boy, it reminds me of Sean Monahan. He used to do that so well in his time in Calgary. And, man, to lift that thing off the backhand, Vladar had zero chance. It is 3-2, and we felt like that was coming. Not even 5 minutes into the second here, this game has changed, boys.
Oh, it surely has. As the Flames thing ices down exactly 5 minutes in, Connor McDavid, how do you do? And Zach Hyman, how do you do too?
Yeah, that is absolutely crazy. Again, as you guys mentioned, McDavid was body slammed into the boards by Coleman. That's such a clean hit, but he still got the puck out. In this game, we had almost fisticuffs for a few times in the first, and now 3-2 with 15 minutes into the second. This game has been excellent so far.
I love it. Alec, I don't want to step on your play-by-play here. We have a little bit of a stoppage here. It looks like the face-off circle. I will say on the Sportsnet feed, little slow-mo replay of McDavid getting a close-up on the bench. Check-in from the trainer. McDavid says he's fine. He's got a chuckle, wry smile on his face. He laughs to himself and says one word.
Yes, a little sheepish smile. And nonetheless, the Flames are attacking, but not much out of that. The Oilers having the upper hand in this second period. 2-on-2. Hyman's back in, looking to complete the natural hat trick. Hyman spins around, intercepted by Tanev. He was looking for McDavid. Who else? Flames moving up, potential 3-on-2. Slowed down by Edmonton was Sharangovich. And now allows Bouchard way down. Over to the Oilers, and it's Huberdeau who's waiting there. Backhand pass, and they're open. Sharangovich, the return feed, and Stuart Skinner was diving. There may have been a puck in front, and it's Skinner. He caught that and leads it over to the Oilers. The bench, his thing was still going forth. The Oilers get this all the way down. What a defensive effort by the Edmonton Oilers as they get this all the way back. But Yegor picks it up and now swept over to Evander Kane. Yegor over here with speed. Yegor trying to go on the backhand. Hey, Bouchard! Getting back and forth ice hockey action in this battle of Alberta. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Door over to Pelletier. Pelletier hooked tangle up at the Flames blue line. Shot around and Skittle handled behind his net. Over to Nurse. Darno Nurse is going to wait and control it over to the right side for Cece. Pass too far. Flames now pick it up. And return feed. Cut off. Backlund has it. He skates in. At the attacking end, several Oilers in on him, including Cody Cece. Nurse shoved away by Mangiapane. And now is touched by Kane. What do we have? I think it's a penalty against the Oilers.
Yeah, it looks like a penalty against the Oilers. And, man, Alec, I'm going to say it right now, buddy. Do not forget what you just said. That should be one of your signature calls. You said, we got back and forth ice hockey action. You are damn right, sir. Literally a good game. Dare I say it, we might have a barn burner on our hands here. Man, Stuart Skinner, he's making me look like a clown. I was questioning his play earlier in tonight's broadcast, and he came to play, especially in that last sequence. Still 3-2 Flames.
I won't leave you hanging out to dry here, Cooper, because I'll throw myself in the fire on that side. He makes a diving glove save and then faces the wrong way to make a backhanded stop on the other end of what was a wide open net. I don't know how you were able to stay in the play-by-play, Alec. That was impressive as we go to break.
Oh, that was an Andre Vasilevsky level save.
Yes.
Stuart Skinner, he was facing the wrong way and caught it with his glove.
Crazy.
Yeah, what these guys do, I know you'll both agree with me. Listen, we watch a lot of hockey. We pay attention to the game. We see the details. John, you and I certainly know. We see the crazy things that you never expect to see. How many broken sticks that we had in games that we've covered. Just random little things that pop up when you really watch a lot and take it in. But man, oh man, there are certain moments. We've already had a couple tonight in not even a period and a half that make me so happy that we're all on this thing. And there's obviously lots more to come. We got the commercial break here. Boys, what are you expecting here? The Flames came to life a little bit more over their past 2 or 3 shifts or so. Do you think they can maintain that kind of momentum, or do you think the Oilers are going to grab it right back from them?
I feel like this is going to be a back-and-forth affair the whole way through. I can't wait till you take over the third part side, and Alec's got the rest of this. It's going to leave me on my toes for this second because we're looking at some of the goal highlights now, but this has been back and forth, and it makes me feel like the Battle of Alberta in the playoff side when we covered it, Cooper. This could be a 6-5 type of game.
Oh, you remind me of that Stadium Series matchup, John.
This is at everything right now. I mean, we've had some instant classics all day on this Saturday, and this nightcap might be the best of them all.
Yeah, just a wild one here, and I'm glad that the Flames didn't just roll over here in the early part of the second because the Oilers came out. I mean, what a highlight reel goal from Hyman, and now the Flames can have an opportunity here. Janmark goes for cross-checking. The Oilers do win the defensive zone draw here. Oh my goodness, I think we have another 4-on-4, guys, and coming right through is McDavid. Alec, I'm going to let you take this back over. I thought we had a power play for Calgary. It's a 4-on-4.
Yeah, Blake Coleman is called for embellishment. So there's the rare embellishment penalty that you see in the NHL. Fans don't like it, but whenever someone dies, it is embellishment. So that is the rule on the rule book. Nazem Kadri across. Over to Hanifin. Look, back for Kadri. Up on. The rebound. And Huberdeau sent this one. He had a wide open net and couldn't find anything. This should have been 4-2. Oilers iced this. But no, they don't ice it. But how is this not a 2-goal game? That is beyond me. And perhaps you two, as Canada is going to look, spins around the back of the net, trying to set up at the half wall. Oilers perfectly timed that away to poke it onto the benches. But how did
just going to give you 3 words. I don't know. That thing comes. Boy, yeah, he had Bouchard on it, but Bouchard did not, and I repeat, not get a stick on a stick. I think Huberdeau, here's what the overhead replay. I think Huberdeau was expecting to get the poke check or the stick check right there, but he ended up having a clean look at it. He pulls it wide. Yeah, Alec, you're right. Should be 4-2 Calgary.
I still don't. Oh man, it still should be 4-2 Calgary by this point. Skinner, as you look at his career against the Flames, he's 4-0-0 in his young career. This is his sophomore season. After he was in contention for the Calder Trophy last season, has him from back when Mangiapane nicely cut away by Ceci. No penalty arm in the air despite Ceci grabbing his face. Andersson tied up. Mangiapane also tied up. That was Nurse over him. Mangiapane keeps. Good poke by Nurse. You get that out of the zone. Good defensive possession for the Oilers as Andersson will reset. Right side is Weegar. He'll drive it in himself. Over to Sharangovich. Sharangovich, short side, saved by Skinner. As he sees his puck come to him, he'll decide to hold on to it. The referee saw this. Enough time has passed for it to be considered a cover-up just as he was about to give this on to one of his teammates, Nurse.
Yeah, listen, guys, there's a lot going on right there. It could have been a couple of penalties. Looked like Mangiapane got his stick up on CC. I think also Rasmus got a little bit of a slash that wasn't called, and he's been getting a lot of attention from the Oilers. He's under their skin for sure. And, yeah, Skinner makes a mistake there. Didn't know who was around him. Covers up, and the referees had to blow that whistle. But the Oilers do a nice job in their defensive zone yet again, win that faceoff.
The Flames have won 5 of their last 6 road games to date. They're doing good as road warriors and as underdogs, especially since they won the last 2 games against Boston and Winnipeg. 4-on-4s over both Kolak. And we got a fight here. This is bound to happen. Yegor and Coleman throwing rights at one another. There's still getting one of these other gloves are off. Coleman doesn't have his helmet. Yegor still has his. And Coleman over and down. The lineman step in. And Yegor gets the TKO.
Well, you had to think that Blake Coleman might have to answer for that body slam on McDavid. And little did I know, Janmark could throw some bombs because Coleman's a tough customer. That's a hell of a scrap between 2 combatants there, Cooper.
What are the odds, guys? We were just talking about how rare these types of fights are. Listen, I'm not saying it was equal to the one that we were describing earlier between Philly and the Rangers, but man,
wow.
Janmark and Coleman stand out there. Boy, Janmark really had the advantage early, but Coleman, he threw those gloves down, and listen, he's a veteran, man. He stands his ground, he takes a couple, and then he puts it on Janmark with some right hands and really throws down. Of course, Coleman, I didn't expect to see it again. Somebody's got to call Adidas because these fight straps aren't working, guys. He's got a jersey on one sleeve. What's going on?
You can't move Adidas, Cooper.
Yeah, this is a spectacular contest. Again, I mentioned an undercard there with Anthony Mantha and Nick Cousins. Well, this was your second fight of the night. I think this was number 2 as far as the one that we referenced there earlier between the Rangers and the Flyers. But this game's had everything right now. And again, it's worth mentioning it's 3-2 Calgary with 10:54 in the second.
Oh, you have me going back once again to the Stadium Series when that game between the Islanders and Rangers basically everything had the Islanders taking the lead early and the Rangers come storming back. We had a fight. We had endless goal scoring, power plays. We have one from the Oilers. Well, good. For it to be evenly matched, we may need a power play goal from the Flames, if that matters. Both are the face-off, but nonetheless, we're seeing everything.
Yeah, there is plenty to like here. I'm sure Blake Coleman is pretty proud of his performance there. He's got a little souvenir on the bridge of his nose, but so does Janmark as well. He went straight back to the room.
Yeah, he has. He went straight back to the room, perhaps to check on something, but got a little bloodied up. Perhaps his training staff, they're going to look at him further. If there's any injury, one of the plays gets parried down, and the Oilers pick it up at the near side of the wall, out to center. The Flames take it right back onto the attacking zone. Spinning around, Mangiapane trying to get this in deep. Alec is filling in for Coleman at the third line. In the meantime, Coleman is serving his 5-minute major for fighting. Perry pokes this all the way out as Hanifin was trying to jump on it. Tanev skates away from Kane. Tanev
Can't believe it. John, I'll let you jump in. All I'm going to say is Kane, he is muttering to himself, and I cannot repeat the words that he is using. Yeah. He's looking up to that big video board. I think he thinks it should be a tie game, and I have to agree with him. Gambladar, flashing leather. Yeah,
Tanev was falling down, blowing a tire, trying to get back, and he's trying to snipe the short side. Gambladar made that look all too easy. That's spectacular goaltending right there.
Yeah, 6 goals and 28 shots in his last 8 games. That's a spectacular run for Evander. So they're reestablishing that goal-scoring presence that he has in San Jose and Buffalo and Winnipeg. Oilers in the attack again, halfway through regulation. McDavid back for Nurse. Cece Henry over the far side of the point. Over to Hyman. This gets batted down low. McDavid tied up with one of the police Bouchard. Draisaitl helps out McDavid at the far corner. Trying to break away. Kadri's all over him. Nurse holds it. Over to McDavid. CMD. Zary pass. Draisaitl can't fire it home. Hyman keeps. Left circle. Going over right side for Cece. Cece blasts one. And the save. By Bouchard. Doing as many sequences. And we'll go to break.
Yeah, boys, we're getting the replay of that scrap between Coleman and Yegor. But that last sequence, that last shift for the Oilers, they looked good. They were buzzing right there. Draisaitl right on the doorstep. Just misses the pass across. And these teams are close. I think, listen, it's obvious. It sounds like a cliche. It's definitely true in a game like this. The next goal, whichever way it goes, and it will come, is going to be massive.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I'm just glad to be enjoying the theater with you gentlemen. Honestly, going into this, I think I was with you, Cooper. I was probably, I wouldn't say it to you openly, but I can say it now since we're all in here, probably leaning Oilers the way that this has been through the season series. But the Flames have impressed me in this game. And considering their last couple wins against Boston and Winnipeg, it does feel good. I know there's a long way to go, but it does feel good to see all that energy carry over and have this game mean as much as it does. And also, I will say this, for Connor Zary, we know how good he is, but Marty Pospisil, he's got to be enjoying this moment because I also think that this is his type of game.
No, he has to be. Yeah, no, you're right on. And you know, just like Hyman has a couple of really nice goals, I would not be shocked if we saw Pospisil revisit that scoring touch again. I'm just so fascinated to see who will be the hero tonight. I know a lot of times, guys, we go around and say to ourselves, I'm not going there yet. I'm not asking yet. I'm just referencing the times that we have thought about who might be the hero for one or the other of the two teams facing against each other. So that might be a situation again as we get into the third, depending on the scoreline. Who might come out as the hero tonight? So keep that in your minds as we move forward.
Before you jump back in here, Alec, I'll just say the reset here is showing Zach Hyman and where he likes to shoot. That's right in front of the office in close quarters. 9:33 in the second. It's 3-2 Calgary. 10 total penalties in this game, and there might be more.
Yeah, we may not be done yet in terms of how many more penalties are we getting. Already we have 10 penalties, and we're still not done with this considering we're halfway in regulation. Hyman has 19 goals in his last 25 games, 5 on the power play, 2 game winners. That one said it was tied up by Derek Ryan, no shots. But Hyman, he did score an overtime winner in the first round against the LA Kings. The Oilers were down 3-0. They came all the way back, winning 5-4. That was game 4 of that series at LA Crypto.com Arena, formerly Staples Center. Flames may have ice, they do. And as the signal was given by Derek Nazem, the Oilers prime scoring position at the attacking end.
Yeah, very close there. That clearing attempt from the Flames, I did think that it deflected off of an Oilers stick, but apparently that is not the case. Those gentlemen in black and white, a little closer than I am to the ice surface right now, so I'll take their word for it. Going to be a face-off to the right of Dan Bledar.
Yeah, that's to his right. Nugent-Hopkins going to come in to take the face-off opposite Michael Backlund. Now the captain for the Flames, after the Flames did not have a captain ever since the departure Mark Giordano by means of the Seattle expansion draft. This is sent all the way down to Mangiapane, and the Oilers will take it back up after Mangiapane just sent this one in. Nugent-Hopkins drops it back. Left defender Matthias Ekholm. They're all tied up at the neutral zone. Warren Fogle goes back. That's actually Darnell Nurse. Fogle, long stretch pass doesn't work. Flames take it up. They enter the zone. Moving
Great call right there, Alec. And man, did the Flames battle. And I don't mean to make that a pun because it's the Battle of Alberta. They fought hard to get that goal. And Hunt did a lot of the work. So did Weegar. He's had such a good game. Huberdeau does a good job to find the right target. And talk about a target. Hunt from the top of the circles, dead center between them. Want to wire something? We talked about Pospisil wiring one. Now Hunt goes, that's a video game type of goal right there. Time slows down. He fires top shelf 4-2.
I love that. And as you said there, Cooper and Alec, and great call on the play-by-play by you. I love that the Flames kept working there in the high slot, kept their feet moving, and Dryden Hunt is first of the year. That's a goal scorer's goal.
Indeed. And Killington, first assist of the year as well. Welcome back, Killington. And welcome onto the goal scorer's table. Oh, Bouchard, he had trouble getting that out of his goal crease, but no worse or wear as he gets it out of danger. Pospisil goes back. And for Hunt, there took 3 attempts for Hunt to beat Skinner. First 2 were stopped, and then third time is the charm. 7:46 to go. We get a stoppage here. And a penalty against Draisaitl.
Yeah, you just talked about it, Cooper, how big the next goal was going to be. But how about this? You get one from Dryden Hunt of all people. And Draisaitl, I just mentioned with Pospisil, look at what he's doing to Marty.
Yeah, he's giving him the business, and I think it was not the third, but the very fourth choice that he made. You could call for there wasn't enough in the boarding there. There wasn't enough, and all of a sudden Draisaitl, frustrated that he couldn't get the check, couldn't get possession. His team can't come away with it. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to hook you down. And so he goes to the box.
I mean, he really gave him the business. Oh, let's not lie. He really did give him the business at the far side wall. Flames on the power play for the second time tonight. Oilers penalty kill. They mostly shut down the Vegas Golden Knights last time we covered them, John, but the Oilers lost that game, had their 16-game winning streak snapped. Oilers clear it, but they did do a good job of forcing Vegas onto the outside. Flames, for as good as their penalty killers look, 5th in the league, they have to match that on the power play. They rank 5th worst in the NHL. Pass around, Desharnais gets to it first. Didn't have a chance to say his name a lot tonight, but he does clear it all the way down, and both sides will change units. Just past the 32nd mark of this Flames power play. Drop pass from Weegar. Moving up is Sharangovich. Sharangovich for the middle intended for Kadri. Kadri was cut away by Desharnais, and the Oilers will shoot this down one more time, this time around for the near boards and onto Bouchard. Not really much of anything on this Flames power play. Maybe more of a repeat of the first power play around, if that's anything or semblance is taken in. And Hanifin will shoot this right up high, and one of the fans is going to catch that, or no, it's going to go back onto the ice surface.
Yeah, that was a bit of a weird play right there from Hanifin. He's on his off wing right there and tries to float that one into the center, maybe just trying to get that puck to pinball around, but it ends up going up and into the netting. So, worth mentioning. A lot of fans here, a lot of passionate hockey fans. The 50-50 jackpot is up to $1.5 million at Rogers Place. So it's going to be one lucky fan. I think that's for the year. So lots going on tonight. Going to be big wins either way. Could be in the stands, definitely on the ice as the play has resumed here. And yeah, Alec, you said it. I'll let you take the play-by-play back momentarily. Not a lot to speak of here on this power play for Calgary.
The one thing that the Flames could have is that the Oilers' penalty kill is 15 of 27 in their last 8 games, which is not ideal for a penalty kill. Coaches go insane when penalty kill numbers go below 75%. And that is the case here in these last 8 games for Kris Knoblauch's team. Pass all the way back for Hanifin. On to the point. Going against Andersson. Andersson goes back for Hanifin. One-timer's kicked out. And this clearing attempt not out. Wayne's keeping it. Zary goes. Hanifin scores! There it is! Noah Hanifin, power play marker. It's 5-2.
John, you jump in there. I keep giving my thoughts. I got to hear what you think, my friend. That's a great sequence from the Flames. They took advantage when they needed to.
Noah Hanifin. You want to talk about wherever he's going to be in a couple weeks? Well, he looks good in a Flames uniform to me. Is trying to get cleared out by RNH. It sets up the cycle one more time. And again, keeping your feet moving. This time near the right side. Dodd trying to go off the back skate of Kulak, and they can't stop it. Hanifin with a snipe.
Boy, he elevates too. Didn't get everything on that, but man, when the cage is that wide open, you just need to put it on frame, and he certainly did. He went up back bar. That is his 11th of the season at 14:09. He widens the lead for the Flames on Andersson's 24th assist. Connor Zary's 17th. John, you said it earlier. Dare we say Calder watch here? Connor Zary has been a huge contributor for this Calgary Flames team.
Yes, he has.
Another marker for Connor Zary as we go to break. So as you look at that last goal from Hanifin, he elevated that all the way. Stuart Scarron, for as little of a chance he had at stopping that, he couldn't get all the way because Darnell Nurse was in the way of him.
Yeah, that was a good call by you, Alec, on that side. I will just mention with Zary here really quickly. Again, that's another assist, as Cooper mentioned, and that plus-minus continues to climb. I mean, this youngster has been really good. I understand Pospisil might be more of the sandpaper grit and Connor Zary more of the skill type, but I think when you mix that line, especially when you have Kadri, Zary, and Pospisil, I find it really hard to believe that Ryan Huska would ever break up that trio there, because whether it's the first, second line, no matter where you put them, they just continue to get the job done.
Yeah, and John, I think that this Flames team in particular, this group currently, and look, you made a great point. You guys both know this. Craig Conroy is still going to have decisions to make, right? And each game makes a difference. The standings make a difference. I will point out that the Seattle Kraken are being fed their dinner by the Minnesota Wild tonight in Seattle. So that's a team that the Flames are right alongside in terms of their standings. However, talking about the individual players here, this is a team that, at least in this version, it seems like almost to a man, they are willing to take themselves out of one label. And John, that's what we were just saying,
right,
where you said, hey, are you the grit guy? Are you the goal scorer? Are you finesse? Are you the tough guy? Forget about it. Everyone's going down for a block. The Kris Tanev's never going to give up. He's going to lead that category. But I don't care who they are. They're going down. They're giving up their bodies to try to protect their goaltender. I don't care who they are. They're setting themselves up in position to receive the puck from a teammate and get the best shooting lane possible. I don't care who they are. They're putting their best foot forward when it comes to using their skill, using their understanding of the game, their hockey sense, and giving their teammates and their line mates the best chance to succeed. We've seen it. We've seen them get pushed back from the Oilers tonight, and then we've seen the Flames turn right around and do it to Edmonton yet again. And all of a sudden, a game that was very close on a nice edge, it's now 5-2. I know I keep waxing poetic here, but this is a pretty dang impressive performance from the Flames. Now, can they sustain it?
Keep going, Alec.
And so that they just remove some bots on here on the spaces side. Get some spam bosses. We don't want any of that. Alec, why did you remove Maddie from? I'm sure she has thoughts about Connor Zary's performance tonight. Come on, bud, give her a chance. Oh wait, she's she's AI. Great, let's go back to the game. I know they poke fun out of AI and people use that. Not a big fan of AI either, Cooper. Just so you know, the Flames are back in the zone anyway. For those speaking, Mangiapane is tied up. And Andersson is going to smooth this around. What a sequence we're having here on the Twitter side, boy. Having a bit of a laughter here for the past few seconds because of that. Evander King goes. Oh my goodness, Cooper! What a chaotic sequence. Hey, you know what? We had some hockey fans in the Twitter Spaces, guys. I'm not sure why you booted them out. We would have had a very productive conversation about how MacKenzie Weegar is quietly the best Flame on the ice tonight. But no, he had to kick them out. No, sure, guys. Go ahead. Oh, my God. I still can't believe it. The Oilers are in the zone. Far corner. One of the Oilers falls down. And the Flames get it. Not all the way out. Knoblauch keeps it in. On to Connor Brown, shoved away by Bouchard, and it goes to Holloway. Brown tied up, gets back on his feet. McDavid takes it and moves over to the right point. One time by Desharnais, kicked out by Weegar. They rush to it, going back for Desharnais. And another shot's blocked up high, and this is a penalty. Tripping it is. Corey Perry, still an Holloway, who gets stricken by the feet of Jonathan Huberdeau, and that will lead to a much-needed Oilers power play.
Yeah, they're going to get an opportunity to answer right here. Dan Vladar with a good blocker stop. Again, he's had a really good period as the Flames offense has continued to hum. This is going to set up something good again, and we'll see what happens for the Oilers here as Huberdeau's in the box for a trip.
Yeah, a bit of bad timing right there for Huberdeau. He hasn't had the most stellar game here. I wouldn't say it's ridiculously bad by any stretch. That miss was not great, but look, I'm not going to try to pin that on him right there. He was just trying to get his stick in and possess the puck. Unfortunately, his opponent got right in the way of his stick blade and goes down to the ice. So 2 minutes here to go on this power play. They'll start off fresh, the Oilers will, with 3:49 to go in the second. 5-2 Calgary.
So on to the second man advantage for the Oilers. They struck on their first one. Alec Nava alongside John Ott and Nugent-Hopkins. So a one-goal game has went into a three-goal game. Oilers all out in front. Puck still loose. And then a shot went up with Bouchard. They were all over the front of the net. Flames pick it up. This is Backlund. Backlund will shoot this over to the far corner as Rooney is racing after this puck. And slowed down. And then a pass all the way back up for the ice. And then cut off was one of the Oilers. Evan Bouchard will restart. His PK for the Flames has went a perfect 3-for-3 against the Bruins the other night. But they did give up the first power play goal against the Oilers here tonight. But no problems here thus far on this penalty kill. Rooney will just shoot this down to the Oilers' end where Bouchard will restart. Bouchard over to Draisaitl, far side. Draisaitl drops back. Here comes the ever-so-speedy Connor McDavid. Hand off for R&H. No, hand off one more time for Bouchard. At the far side is Draisaitl. Moves around. A pass back for Bouchard from McDavid. On to Nugent-Hopkins. Back to Bouchard and now McDavid. He's going to look. Bouchard one more time. On to Nugent-Hopkins. And then that low setup for Draisaitl. He fired this. Aired over to the right. Back for McDavid. McDavid across. Here's the Nuge. Drop pass for McDavid. High swat. This pass took too long to get to Draisaitl and an easy clear for the Flames where it is Skinner who handled this. 30 seconds on the man advantage. And he'll leave this behind in the 5:15 of the second period. Moving up now is Draisaitl over the far side, slapped around by Ekholm. At the opposite corner, Warren Foegele was there, matched up Evander Kane, Darnell Nurse, and now again Ekholm. Shot wide intentionally, not sure if it is. And then Kane, out in front, Foegele was stopped. Ekholm rushes in to keep this one alive. Back deep is Nurse. Now Kane again. Kane holding. High swat, walked up high. Power play over. Huberdeau back on the ice. And Kane, sandwiched along the wall by the under 91, Nazem Kadri. Is kept down low in the far corner by Foegele. Perry can't get this done, though he was blocked. Huberdeau picks this up, fresh with the box. Flames now starting up. 1:30 to go in the second period. Tanev from the red line send this over to the near corner, bouncing off the wall. Ekholm back deep, matched up by Huberdeau, and this goes bouncing towards the wall one more time. Flames are down low, looks for something. It took a bounce off a stick. Andersson gloves it down. At the near corner, one of the Flames gets punched up. That was right in front, and then another one. Another Flame goes down. That was Jonathan Huberdeau who got shaken up after the top hassle towards the wall. Ekholm down one more time. Oilers fans want a penalty. We got some pushing shoving. As a matter of fact, after the sequence, more pushing shoving. They're all over one another, eating each other like bulls and cows at a fighting ring. Ole! Ole! Ole!
Well,
wild times here, guys. Wild times. I'm stunned that there wasn't a penalty called after Huberdeau was sent into the boards. Man, one of the linesmen right now getting mixed up. I'm trying to see. It's Corey Perry, of course. I think he's mixed up with MacKenzie Weegar. MacKenzie Weegar's been everywhere for Calgary tonight, both during the course of play and when the whistles have gone. There is a lot of animosity on the ice right now. Corey Perry and Weegar will not let each other go.
and I'm surprised, honestly. I know Jonathan Huberdeau's a big boy, but he took a vicious cross-check near the right side red line, and he popped back up like nothing happened, and that's what drew the big-time crowd. Glad to see that he popped back up, and Corey Perry, doesn't matter what team he's on, he's going to go right back to the box alongside MacKenzie Weegar.
That's what they call Perry an agitator. As Weegar is going to be sent off to the locker room and going right back to the penalty box get his goal scoring opportunity. Heck, Vladar lost his stick.
And again, Cooper, on this side, you got to go ahead and you give the big hand, round of applause to Dan Vladar. He's been excellent.
Yeah, he really has. He really has. I mean, you take away the breakaway backhand goal by Hyman. Man, there is that replay on the Sportsnet feed at home with what looked to be pretty clear cross-check in the low back of Huberdeau as he was bent over. Boy, then Huberdeau, Alec, you said you want to talk about giving somebody the business. Huberdeau cross-checked him right back in the back, and that is exactly what started the scrum. There is a ton of, I don't think frustration is the right word. That's far too polite. And now both captains are discussing things with our head referee, Michael Backlund, asking some questions, and number 97, needless to say, in on that conversation as well. I'm sure that the officials are trying to keep this game as civilized as they can, which is an uphill battle for sure.
What's the Twitter handle? Matchsticks and gasoline? Because that's what we have right now.
No question about it.
Indeed, we do have matchsticks and gasoline over the ice. Because that whenever we see these two, we of course see fire lit onto the ice. Not in a literal sense, but in a figurative sense, in the sense that we're seeing cross checks and toughness, physicality. We're seeing this going all the way back to when it was at its peak in the 80s, back in the days of Wayne Gretzky.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see Huberdeau and Ekholm in the box. Right now I see Ekholm, but we're still trying to get the particulars here. Looks like the Flames are on a power play, according to Sportsnet.
Yeah, I think you are correct. Ekholm pleading his case to no avail. He is furious. Boy, he's shouting at these referees, and that's the least of their worries. The referees have gotten face washed inadvertently a couple of times. That man Ekholm chatting all the way to his seat in the penalty box, and I do think, bias aside, that is the right call. Now, however, we do have Huberdeau in the box as well, yet the Flames are on a power play, so it does seem like the Huberdeau-Ekholm situation is offsetting. Are we going to have to reset our own understanding of the situation here? Will the Flames actually have the man advantage? I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it should be 4-on-4. I see 4 Oilers on the ice. We have 4 Flames on the ice, it seems, and the verdict is a power play for the Flames. This is strange, Cooper, considering that this should be 4-on-4, considering that Huberdeau, he delivered a retribution cross-check. Stuart Skinner played this into danger. Flames take it back up on the power play for the third time. Going back toward Andersson. And a one-timer smoked wide from Kadri, the leading point scorer for Calgary. This goes down low. This went up into the mesh. 34.7 in the period. They'll have 1 minute of carryover power play time if they do not score it for the remainder of the second.
John, any thoughts, my friend? I know the Flames here are going to try to put pressure on. Maybe they can get one more to really widen the lead, but I think the Flames are just happy to come away with the man advantage after that scrap that there was in the corner earlier.
Yeah, Cooper, I think you have to say it as plain as day here. Just make sure you keep these 30 seconds clean and go to the dressing room up by 3.
And I think that they should be doing that. And interestingly, the Flames, they scored 6 goals in the previous 4 games against the Oilers. Now they scored 5. One of those shots hit the crossbar. Kadri's pass deflected. This goes all the way out. Eric Riley have a chance. The way penalty against the Flames. And it's touched up by Zary just as Andersson sinked it away.
Wow.
It's going to be a hold. And that was right off the power play.
Yeah, what did you just say, John? Didn't mean to step on it. That was a must-take penalty for Rasmus Andersson. Just a bit of bad puck luck right there. Bouncing puck at the blue line. Flames unable to keep it in. And just a second prior, boy, Sharangovich whistled one off of Cody Ceci. But man, Rasmus Andersson had no choice but to get that penalty right there. And there wasn't much of a hold. Now that we see the replay, that was not really a hold. I think the referees were expecting Rasmus to drag down the Oiler right there. I didn't actually get a number on who was on that partial break, but either way, Rasmus had to intervene, and he did.
And that was Derek Ryan, number 10. Speaking of that, we have 10 seconds to go in the second period. Will we see one more goal here from either side? Don't think there will be one more goal. Skinner's going to stick this out to his teammate, and that may run out the second period. Just when it seemed that it was going to be a tight game, the Flames have unlocked it and drove it back to their favor, and they set this place on fire towards their favor. 5-2 they lead after fourth.
Yeah, we got Hyman, Dryden Hunt, and Noah Hanifin as the Flames get the last two goals at 11:47 and 14:09. It's a 5-2 lead as we're going to be heading to the third period. The second intermission is going to have a lot of talking points, but Cooper, take the lead here. What are you seeing in this game, and what do you think is going to await from us in the last 20?
Well, you know what? First things first, guys. This does not feel like a game that is in the books for Calgary, and that maybe that's some mini PSD symptoms after the Flames go up 3-0 and then end up letting the Oilers get right back into it earlier in this contest. Now, Flames have done what they needed to do on the scoring side, so they open up that lead once again. As we mentioned, it's 5-2. But I think just because of the intensity, because of where this game is being played, and because of who the Flames' opponent is, that level of skill just cannot be ignored. And especially if you're going to make mistakes when you're on a power play and you have to take a penalty just to avoid a breakaway for the other team. I mean, that's not the kind of pattern you want to establish. Now, all I will say before we continue on in our intermission discussion is I really liked the play of some of the individual Flames tonight. Now, they certainly are playing as a team, but again, credit to MacKenzie Weegar. He's been doing it all for Calgary. I really liked, Blake Coleman has stepped up for his team. Zary, obviously, Pospisil with the big goal. But I will also say quietly, Mikael Backlund has been having a nice game. He hasn't been dispossessed too much. He's maintained a level head more so than the rest of his teammates. And that's what you expect out of a captain. But he does need to lead this team to a victory. And I think his fellow Flames are going to be looking to him to help them finish this thing off. Don't want to be dragged into the mud by an Oilers team that's frustrated being down right now. That's going to be a major theme in the third. Can they maintain their focus? They've been able to do it. So they just have to prove me right, I guess, that they can keep that focus through the end of regulation and take the W.
Go ahead, Alec. You had a lot going on in that second period. Give me your thoughts.
We had everything happening in that second period. I mean, when we think that it was going to be a one-goal game or a tie game, considering that Zach Hyman has led the Oilers to within one with a second on the breakout, all of a sudden the momentum flipped in the second half of that second period. Benson Dryden Hunt, who started up on a hard-working goal, and Noah Hanifin did the rest to end things out. Well, not actually to end things out, but still, that second period had everything. When we go on to the penalty numbers, it should be telling about this rivalry. We see that they really do not like each other, and this second period is evident of it. To have Vladar doing what he has to do with Jacob Markstrom, as you mentioned, it was an injury situation for Markstrom, Cooper.
Yes, I believe so. That was the statement from the team, and I heard no argument there. I think that was backed up by some of the Flames media as well. Just a precaution. It's, again, my understanding from what I've read, that Markstrom, he had a hand situation that he came back from, may have re-aggravated it just slightly, and they apparently did not want to put him in a position where that could be worsened. So Vladar, he's fully healthy. They have their trust in him, and which has certainly been earned tonight. John, you've pointed it out, Vladar's played really fantastic. But yeah, that's my understanding of the Markstrom situation.
And there you have it about the situation with Markstrom. But Vladar is doing a good job of filling in for Markstrom in the wake of that light injury, though they're still going to monitor it for the time being. But Vladar, props to him.
I will say this, Stuart Skinner with his 17 out of 22 saves, his 17 saves, is the amount of penalties that we have in this game. 17 penalties and a 5-2 lead for the Flames. Again, to reset it, you're looking at some of the highlights on CBC of that fight there between Coleman and Janmark. That was the second best fight that we had tonight. Most nights, that would easily be far and away the first, but there has been a lot of goals. I'll go through the scoreboard and let you guys get a little bit of a rest here. Nazem Kadri with his 21st, 202 from Walker Dewar and Noah Hanifin that opened the scoring. Marty Pospisil with an absolute snipe as the Flames were able to keep it in the zone at the 9-11 marker from Zary, Braden Paschal, and then Noah Hanifin at 15:53 from Mikael Backlund and Jonathan Huberdeau as he was able to get a deflection off of a shot off there. And Zach Hyman, a little bit of a break on the power play from Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard. It was 3-1 after one. Hyman, he was looking for a natural hat trick. He got his second, his 37th of the year from Draisaitl and McDavid. As Vladar was out of his goal crease for a little bit, the Oilers were able to find it and finish it off. Dryden Hunt, he was moving up near the right side circle as Huberdeau made a great pass in behind the net of Skinner, assisted from Huberdeau and Shillington, and then Noah Hanifin with another snipe. Kind of looked like Marty on that end. 14:09, his 11th in the power play from Zary and Rasmus Andersson. And again, as Cooper and I mentioned too, you don't want to sleep on Connor Zary on this side as far as the Calder race. I know there's been a lot of talk about Connor Bedard. I know he's been injured and this and that, but if Connor Zary wasn't in the lineup for the Flames, I think that their season would look a lot more different than it already is.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, he's really stepped up, and it's the beginning of a youth movement here for the Flames, and they do still have some talent in the AHL as well that comes up from time to time. But Zary has really established himself. I think he's going to be a big piece of the top two lines of this team moving forward for the foreseeable future. And this is what makes the Flames interesting right now. They're on that cusp, We look at these highlights here on the Sportsnet side. Noah Hanifin with 2 goals tonight. Such a valuable member of this team, one that I'd love to have around long term. But is that the best play? Is that the best for the Flames moving forward as a franchise? It's still to be determined. We don't have the answers tonight, and that's in part because the Flames are in the mix, but they're not solidly established as a playoff team. I'm looking across the scoreboard around the league, looking at that Kings game versus the Ducks. That's a game that the Kings should have easily, but it's 2-2 right now. We see the Kraken being beaten pretty handily by Minnesota. So every night in and night out, guys, it's going to keep changing. That makes Craig Conroy, general manager of the Calgary Flames, that makes his job a lot harder, but it certainly makes it interesting for us.
And I've seen some of the packages and deadlines and what was rumored here again for NHL Network. We're looking at fake slap shot goal, and they said don't show this to the Maple Leafs. That was the Minnesota Golden Gophers women's team that was able to do the Ridley Greig impression, which was pretty cool to be able to see. So you want to talk about showmanship in hockey, we've had it, but I've seen some of these things as we're looking at the Delorier fight, but the Chris Tanev package situation that was proposed on NHL Network was tied to Landria and a second for Tanev, which would really help out Dallas because they need that side of it. But if you're talking about Noah Hanifin, they mentioned maybe multiple players, a first and a second rounder. Same thing for Jacob Markstrom. I know Alec had mentioned this a few times, and I mentioned this with Cooper before, so I'll keep it short, about New Jersey with their goaltending help. Well, you got a couple situations out there, and if Jacob Markstrom's there as well, I don't disagree with you, Cooper. I think Conroy is going to be a busy man, but I also think he has to do the best he can to sell high on his assets because he's got really good players, especially on that back end, as we talked about for years. That's one of Calgary's strengths, and you got to make sure you sell high in at the deadline because going forward right now, if I asked you this a couple of years ago, what would your fortunes be for the Flames? We both probably say not good, but right now you got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, a big part of me does, and even as you say it, though, John, you're right about selling high, and I think that's just a reality in the NHL these days. And listen, as exciting as it is for the Flames to be playing the way they are tonight, and to see, where that high water mark can be for them, it's in the same breath, in the same moment of joy and rejoicing about their performance. You also have to continue to wonder, is now the best moment amongst all to let players like Hanifin and Markstrom go for really nice returns, because just like the Flames are in a spot where they're just battling to try to scrape into what is probably going to be one available wild card. That's the case for a lot of their fellow teams that are right there with them. That's just the Western Conference. We haven't even, you mentioned the Devils, and that there was noise around Markstrom for that. But yeah, absolutely. And then even the Chris Tanevs of the world. It could be a very different look Flames team a couple of weeks from now. A big part of my heart says, no, don't do it. But another part of my heart says, do I want to be locked in for the foreseeable future to a team that is battling for a wild card spot, or do I want to be on a kind of a trajectory, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but one more like the Vancouver Canucks, where you take your medicine for a couple of years, hopefully it's only a couple of seasons, maybe 3, as you work your way back, maybe you're still competitive, maybe you surprise some folks and get into a playoff spot one of those years, but then you really start to see the dividends pay off. And so that's the ongoing debate.
Yeah, and I'm going to let Alec jump in here in a second. I'll just close out with this. You already have your trio core going forward because of Brad Treliving, and that's logged in. And Craig Conroy is going to have to navigate some of the choppy waters. And I already think he's done a good job with some of the moves that he's made to kind of get the trajectory going forward. Because as I mentioned with you, it kind of sets the team up in better spots alongside that new building in a few years.
It does. Yeah, Alec, go ahead and jump in if you have any thoughts as well. Yeah, the new building, new look team, that's inevitable. But Alec, just curious what you think about maybe even just beyond the Flames, these playoff races. Who do you think maybe is going to get in the West? It is a big debate. There are 5 or 6 teams you could point at.
And I feel Calgary may be one of them, but their stance I feel is 50. I feel it's 50-50 on on how I think it's going to be. If the Flames are going to sell, if they're going to push for the playoffs. Well, I remember the Predators, they were sellers at the deadline, and they almost made it, and that was last season. Now they're in a playoff spot. I feel Nashville easier said than done. St. Louis also easier said than done. Nashville currently has tiebreaker. Both teams have the same regulation wins, same regulation and overtime wins. Here a season series in which there is the advantage for Nashville. But either these two would be good bets to make it to the playoffs in the second wild card as of now. But maybe open things up for these two if the Kings completely fall apart. Considering they may be in the midst of a little bit of a collapse, but they may be rebounding just a bit. Flames are not out of it. Kraken are not out of it. You know, Seattle, they have 1 game in hand, but a win by the Flames will give them the advantage over the Kraken at this current pace.
I do want to ask you this, Alec, because we're looking at this from the standings. When I talk about this, you join in part of our free agency frenzy when I throw Cooper to the fire and tell him one team that's going to make it and one team that isn't. The interesting part for me, I had the Kings out. They're in wild card 1. I had the Preds in. They're in wild card 2. So that could go either way. Obviously, I got the Ottawa one wrong, but we both had Tampa out, and they're barely holding on to wild card 2. But let me ask you this, because we talked about Markstrom a little bit. What was I hearing about you say Saros? Maybe the Predators want to deal him because they got a Skarov in net.
Yeah, that is a surprise to me, and I'm curious to see what happens. I mean, the Predators really have turned things around here a little bit, and that's another team that everyone's got to watch out for. But it's a different look team. If Saros is not around, I mean, I can't even really take that seriously. But maybe that's just my mind thinking that he's locked in there for a long time, simply because it's just one of those players, John. We've talked about this before in our broadcasts. You feel like they're always going to be a member of that franchise, and that's the way it seems to me.
Yeah, he's the backbone of that Predators franchise outside of Roman Josi and Philip Forsberg. And the shocking part is that he's not even on the final year of his contract. He's on a $5 million cap as well. He's played like one of the best goaltenders in the league of his recent play. So him on the trade block would seem insane if I'm Nashville battling for a playoff spot with this core that you have.
Yeah, I would completely agree. We keep hearing it to the point where I had to ask you. I know that you're the encyclopedia when it comes to all that stuff, but I was just mouth to the floor on that side when I heard about Saros. The Markstrom thing I could understand. Saros, I really can't, because that kind of feels like a Pecorine situation to me. Like, you don't expect him to play anywhere else, but that could change the landscape for the trade deadline as far as things moving. And again, another team that I want to talk about really quick as we're in the intermission is VGK, because Mark Stone, he goes down, Eichel's down. I think Eichel's closer to returning, but we could potentially have an LTIR situation like the Kucherov one a few years ago. That could open up a ton of cap space for the Vegas Golden Knights. I know some fans outside of Vegas might not be happy with it, but I'm just wondering, you throw some of those names out there. Ottawa, they're going to sell. Vlad Tarasenko's on the board. Do you think that would be a good target for Vegas?
Alec, you want to jump in there first on this one?
The Tarasenko may be a good target if I'm the Vegas Golden Knights. If they want to go after him and his services, they don't need him to do much. I was not expecting him to do a lot down the stretch, but he's been delivering for the Sens ever since he came out that little slump last season, split between the Blues and the Rangers. It feels like he is kind of back to old form, Tarasenko, with 15 goals, 22 assists, 37 points in 52 games thus far. But if you want to bank in on him, say if you can acquire him and get some retained salary in return and get a pick or two in return, a prospect added to the trade deal as well, if you want to go after Tarasenko's services.
I think some of these ones here, Cooper, you can jump in a second, but I think some of these ones, I was just kind of showcasing what I've saw on NHL Network. I think it's going to happen with some of these moves that we talked about. I think we're pretty close as far as the teams, but for VGK, if they had somebody like him here, Cooper, what does that do for them?
Yeah, listen, I think that VGK still has that misfits mentality. I think that Tarasenko, in a way, fits into that, and I think he would blend in really well to the system. I think that his abilities also fit in very well. I think there are enough facilitators on the team that are going to feed him the puck. But Alec, you also made a great point. I don't think that he's going to feel the pressure of doing all the heavy lifting. Vegas knows how to win. They know how to win when they're not at full health. They know how to win with new pieces. They still have a core that's been there for many years, but they've also swapped in around the edges, right? They know how to make switches on the roster. They know how to incorporate guys quickly, and that's one of the biggest challenges is if somebody comes in at the trade deadline, coming in late, relatively late in the season, can they get up to speed? I think the way the Golden Knights play and the way that Tarasenko plays match well, and that would help him get into his role and get up to full speed enough to make a big impact.
Just one more from me, and then you guys can throw it wherever you want to for the rest of the intermission. There was one more move, and I think that this might need to be made by the Avalanche. I don't know if Joe Sakic's going to do it, but I still think they're missing a 2C ever since Nazem Kadri went to the Calgary Flames. They've been trying to mess around with Ryan Johansson a little bit. They lost Alex Newhook to the Montreal Canadiens, but I don't think Adam Henrique's going to stay very long with the Anaheim Ducks. It makes too much sense to have him leave. They'll get moved on. Is that somebody that Colorado might go after?
Could be. I mean, if you need a 2C, he and Ryan Johansson can alternate and do the job. Plus, Henrique can also play on the wing. So you get two solid center options if you're the Avalanche, if you want to go after someone like Henrique. Biggest, his cap is at $5.825 million, and he's on the final year. This makes sense. So you have to do some salary retention if you're the Avs, but you're using up $7 million in LTIR space, so deadline cap space. You only have a couple thousand. You need to have someone going the other way. Perhaps more ideal would be a free-team deal so that one team retains 50%, the other retains 25%. So did the Avs only take up 25% of Henrique's cap?
Just throwing those out there as we're getting into it. I know we're going to be getting into the third, and Cooper's going to take over, but you guys can let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, really interesting stuff. And, boy, the Anaheim Ducks, there's so much chatter around that team just because of the way their season's going. I mean, we're even talking about the Trevor Segerses of the world potentially moving on. So one thing we're going to do is we're going to have to try to move on from all of these penalties because if we don't, there won't be room in the penalty boxes for the Flames and Oilers to sit down. We will be standing in the penalty box. So, boys, move on from the fisticuffs. We've got it. We also got a face-off here at center ice. Nazem Kadri wins it to start our third period, in which the Flames will begin leading 5-2, 22 shots to 21. Calgary by 1 on the shot board, and it's 4-on-4 for 45 seconds here. Sharangovich carries in. Cooper Hopkins on play-by-play now, alongside Alec, Nava, and Mr. John Ott. Happy to have the trio together here tonight as the Flames will collect in their own end of the trapezoid. That is Tanev. Now the puck left behind, picked up by Tanev once again on this fresh sheet of ice. So the Flames with Hanifin now. Hanifin surveys the scene, getting a little pressure from the forechecker right here. 22 seconds left on the 4-on-4, and then multiple Flames and Oilers will come out of the box. And the Flames try to collect here in their offensive zone. Can't do so with Michael Backlund on the ice. And now the Flames do get that puck that was cleared away by Edmonton. 45, make that 55 seconds gone here as the puck's carried in by the Flames on the stick of Braden Pichal. And now as the 4x4 runs out and a 45-second power play kicks in for the Oilers, and the man advantage, of course, they're 500 tonight, having scored once. That off the stick of Hyman, who has 2 goals tonight. The Flames looking to clear out, so they got to collect the puck to do so. Good passing down low. Now the Oilers behind Dan Vladar, going to try to send it out front to Draisaitl. He's on his left hand on that forehand, but he does not pull the trigger. 23 seconds to go here in the power play. Good passing high to low. Now McDavid looks at the seam. He's going to slow it up with the half boards. Sends it back to the blue line. Now it's back across to Draisaitl. Looks like this one down low. Good pressure right there from Tanev. Excuse me. I thought there was going to be a shot right on to Vladar. Johnny on the spot. He covers that puck up right out in front of the paint, and we will have a face-off.
Hyman was so open down low at the goal line to receive it. I thought it was going to be a shot on goal too. Spinning with a spin around on the forehand. That's what the expectation is from the goal line when you're going on the forehand. You're righty, and you try to stuff that in, but that's not happening.
No, it is not. And Michael Backlund, unfortunately for Flames fans, cannot win that defensive zone draw right there. Connor McDavid tries to snap one. I'm not sure if that was a bit of a shot pass, perhaps. But either way, McDavid with the puck on his stick, he will possess, and the power play runs out as Rasmus Andersson comes back on the ice, and that puck got all the way down toward Vladar, but Tanev's stick kept it out of the crease. Now it's right back on Tanev's stick. Boy, he's had a lot of action here in the first 2 minutes or so as we have 2:15 gone as the Oilers come right in. Blocker save by Dan Vladar. Great stop right there. A shot go to the far post. Now another snapshot. Puck bouncing down low. Wraparound attempt by the Oilers is kept out by Vladar. Big number 80 in the net for the Flames. Couldn't find it as a slap shot whistles wide. Now another shot goes wide from the far half boards. 17:30 here in the third. Big check behind Vladar. The Flames will finally get possession. And Sharangovich can't keep it on his stick. It's going to be a 2-on-2 the other way, making it 3. Vladar makes another huge stop. That was a shot right on from Holloway. Now the Flames just trying to collect themselves here. John, you and I have seen a ton of games where this has happened to Calgary. Fortunately, they have a 3-goal lead right now, but they are in desperate need of a stoppage. Vladar smart enough to cover up, and we will get the whistle. Guess what, boys? Players come together at the glass.
Again, it was just like the start of the second period, just like the start of the third. And the big number 80, Dan Vladar, answers the bell. About 6 saves already in the span of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Oilers steal the puck a few times off the rush, and he makes the save.
I'll tell you, Cooper, sometimes the stories write themselves in this Battle of Alberta. Sometimes after the whistle, you're going to see bodies coming together, but none other than big Dan Vladar to come up big and making several big saves in several key moments after the power play ran out, including one on that Dylan Holloway wraparound.
Yeah, and Hyman was really driving forward on his forehand and fires to the wide side looking for that hat-trick goal, but it was not meant to be, at least in that moment. And all of a sudden, the Flames, who led in the shot count coming into this period, now they're down by 4, 26 shots now for Edmonton. The Flames 22. Flames only with the 1 shot so far in about 3 minutes and 20 seconds gone here in the third. Again, 5-2 lead here. The Battle of Alberta in Edmonton, in the Wild Rose country of Canada. And there is Rasmus, make that Sharangovich getting dragged down at center ice. Surprised there's no call there. But the Oilers try to skate this one forward. It was just past this outstretched stick of Fogle. And now the Flames will take it out, but the puck bounces over to the Oilers side, and it will be flicked in by Cody Ceci. Vladar deflects it to the near corner. It's not on anyone's stick for the moment. It's going to be backhanded along by Calgary, and it's back to neutral ice. The puck picked up there by the Oilers. It's the big German, Leon Draisaitl, leaving it for a teammate, and the puck will be lost by Edmonton and touched along right there by Kevin Rooney of the Flames. Flames will dump in from the red line. 4 minutes have elapsed now here in the third. Lots of work to do for Edmonton if they want to get back in this thing. Flames just need to hang on, and there's a steal. Now coming down the ice on a breakaway is Calgary. There's a deke and a shot, and it's a save. Blake Coleman on his forehand couldn't do it. He goes deep forehand, decides not to go forehand backhand. that may have paid the price there. Skinner steps up Big John to your commentary all night long. Stuart Skinner looking good in huge moments. That basically would have been the contest. Don't think you're coming back from a 4-goal deficit. Crazier things have happened, but the Blake Coleman shot attempt on the breakaway is turned aside. Huge moment right there. Now the Flames take it over as it lost at the blue line. Mangiapane rips one. Blocker save by Skinner. Now Skinner's doing his best Dan Vladar impression as he has to go back-to-back-to-back saves. The Flames get possession once again. It's on Andersson's stick. Now chasing it down is Dryden Hunt. He's scored tonight on a beauty from the top of the circles. It's tipped along by Sharangovich, now on the stick of Jonathan Huberdeau. Oilers take over under 15 minutes to go now, but the puck keeps bouncing the Flames' way. There's a pass over to Pahal. It's bouncing in front. Sharangovich couldn't find it. He was all alone, had a backhand attempt, but he could not fire the puck toward the net. Now the puck is picked up by Evander Kane. He's going to skate this thing forward. He's been mixed up in a lot of fisticuffs tonight, but he can't keep it on his stick. The puck bounces to the near board. And the Oilers, who are 7-3-0 in their last 10 versus the Flames, they're at risk of that record changing very soon. Flames have it at the far half boards. It's tapped over to Hanifin. Hanifin's going to put one right on. Boy, looking for the deflection from Sharangovich. Sharangovich couldn't get his stick on it, but Hanifin almost scored just on the pass attempt. 25 shots now. We are back to even on the shot board as the Oilers just desperately trying to get this thing out. Great forecheck right there by Connor Zary. We've said that name a ton. There's Andersson with the wrister that deflects off of a leg. A lot of back and forth action right here. As Alec said earlier, I'm going to force him to make it his signature call. We got back and forth ice hockey action, baby. Less than 14 here as Mangiapane backhands this one to Nazem Kadri. And the puck bounces to center. Going to be skated forward and chasing down right there. Boy, no penalty call on Oliver Shillington. The man with the puck for the Oilers was, I'm just checking right here, I believe it's Dylan Holloway trying to get that number, and we will finally get a whistle. I get a bit of a break. Gentlemen, lots of scoring chances here in the third.
There has been, of course, especially the breakaway by Blake Coleman, which would have perhaps made the dagger in the Bro 40 Oilers. But the Oilers are partially in it, partially being the key word. But you said again, crazier things have happened because anything can go from a 3-goal lead into a tied game just after New York Islanders in the Stadium Series.
Let me say this. The way that this play has moved in the third period looked a lot like in the second, in the sense of, okay, the Oilers might get a goal here and there. And when they play fast, maybe they can catch the Flames a little bit. In this third period, especially from what they saw after a few saves there from Dan Vladar, Flames took it back in the Oilers zone. They kept it in with sustained puck possession, and they forced Skinner to make about 5 or 6 saves. And they can say we're comfortable playing fast as well. They look good.
Yeah, dare I say it, since we're comparing periods, which of course is natural to do, I've got to say that this version of the Flames tonight looks a little more like they did in the first 10 minutes or so of the game. Seem to be playing with some confidence. The pace is picked up just a tick. They're getting a few bounces, but they're also really finding each other well. I've liked the passes. I've liked the decision-making. I know I've repeated myself a couple of times tonight, but that's what you need if you're going to play winning hockey, and that's what the Flames are doing. And I also like the mentality, right? You've heard me say that word a couple of times, the mentality and the focus. They are focused on continuing to put pucks behind Stuart Skinner. Now, granted, they almost had a few put behind Dan Vladar, but their goalie stood on his head. Stuart Skinner stood on his head, so we remain at 5-2. But both of these teams still going for broke. Nobody trying to protect the lead or giving up by any stretch of the imagination.
No, but they're still hanging in there tough. The Oilers, but they still need to do a lot to do. If they were to do a comeback, the Flames, they've been playing like this the first period all over again. Party over in southern Alberta. All throughout, they're just fighting pucks and trying it right at the Oilers. Open spaces, simple plays, just like that. Oh, the play's back on.
Cooper.
Gotcha right there, John. I'm sorry, you guys know that at least once a broadcast, I'm good to miss that mute button, and I did in that moment. I was literally doing play-by-play just to myself. So we're back in business, guys. Trying to keep this thing somewhat professional. This is what happens when you give me the mic. Who did that? Big mistake. As the Flames try to carry this thing in. And we have 13 minutes to go here in the third. It's going to be on the stick of the Oilers, and they send this one in from the red line. It's back around to Dan Bledard, casually stops that puck in the trapezoid behind his net. And the puck is found at center ice by Blake Coleman. And reaching for possession, I believe, was Brett Kulak. And that is a trip against the Oilers. The former Flame will head into the penalty box. Man advantage coming up for Calgary.
Yeah, that one's easy, right in front of the Zebras, no doubt about it. We talk about a situation where it looks like we might not have a penalty. Thought we were going to, but it was another puck retrieval for Calgary.
Yeah, when they throw the hand up in the air, I thought it was going to be a penalty as well on Brett Kulak for a trip. Turns out it was an offside against the Oilers. Don't worry, Cooper. I've been there before about not unmuting myself. Literally did that yesterday when the Bucks played the Timberwolves.
My goodness. Well, I embarrassed myself by missing the mute button, and I embarrassed myself by assuming it was a penalty. Kulak looked so frustrated, I just based my reaction off of his reaction, but we all learned a lesson tonight. Guess we got to wait for the Zebras to make that call. The Flames now trying to get this puck out of their own end with 12:15 to go in the third. The Oilers will hold in from the blue line. Now get it down low. Here comes McDavid right in. He goes to backhand across. It sits between the circles. Flames do a good job just to get their bodies in the way. Now a slapper that goes wide. That was put to the wide side by Ekholm. Now the Flames will carry this thing out. Now here comes Jonathan Huberdeau. I think he was at the end of the shift. So he will flick this one down low. Ekholm will pick up with that finely coiffed beard. He's going to send this one to neutral ice. Now the Oilers will carry this thing forward. Boy, almost getting through there with the puck on his stick was McLeod. And I think we're going to have a play whistle down for offside here as we get a couple of replays. Boy, McDavid with that stick handling, huh, gentlemen?
21 assists in his last 9 games is what they show. No goals, but no problem creating points and creating offense, although they're down by 3.
I felt that McDavid should have shot that time around to try and break that goalless drought on those last 9 games of this streak where he had 21 assists. I felt that time around he should have shot it.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there, John. You know, John and I have said that in our previous Flames broadcast about Huberdeau. You know, it's when you get your best players stepping into some space on the face-off dot, I don't care what side they're on. Usually when you have that kind of room from that kind of distance, you're going to want to take your chance at the goaltender. But they chose to go for that backhand pass attempt. Ultimately was not the right choice. But hindsight, of course, 2020. And speaking of numbers that match, it was 11-11 to go here in the third. Also matching 25-25 on the shot board is a a clearing attempt for the Flames goes all the way down. It was just right on the money. Skinner had to put the paddle down and collect that puck. And now Weegar has to do it at the other end. He collects it behind the net. Flames will pick up with Andersson, and now skating forward, I believe, is Shillington. Now the Flames have a little momentum here. Going to backhand one right on, and it's in the breadbasket. Skinner sliding backward toward that goal line. Stops a backhand shot from Dewar, and we'll have a face-off here. Guys, I think that time really starting to become the primary enemy of the Edmonton Oilers.
Yes, it really is. And again, you look on the other side for the Flames, and between their 4 lines, I can't really pinpoint anyone that's had a bad game.
No, they've been all playing with solid chemistry with one another, especially when you think back, looking at that young line of Zary, Huberdeau, and with Kadri leading the way, it shows the veteran presence of Nazem. You're not going to step on your toes for too long, Cooper. Let's take it away here.
Hey, no, I do it all the time, you guys. You can be unabashed about it. Feel free. Take over. At least you know how to unpress the mute button. So here we go. 10:30 to go in the third. The Flames now have a bouncing puck right in front. Bouchard gets a little handcuff. Now it's back out. Bouncing in front again. Going to be picked up there for the Flames by Bouchard. Now it is sent to neutral ice. Flames will go for a partial change as Walker Dewar stays on. Now skating it forward is Connor Brown for the hometown Oilers. Kris with the puck on his stick. Flames try to battle through this thing and just get it out of their zone. The Oilers have been doing a very decent job in the last few shifts of putting pressure on. There's a deflected puck that Bouchard was looking to cover, but Hanifin takes it away. Backhands it, can't get it out of the zone. But a nice tap forward and out. Now here comes Mangiapane looking for a teammate. He gets double teamed right there by a couple of Oilers, including Warren Fogle. And the puck will sneak back all the way to number 8 with red on his back. That's Kris. He's been everywhere in this third period, doing a lot of good things for the Flames. And like we talked about, tick, tick, tick goes the clock. for the Oilers. Now less than 9:30 to go here in regulation. Calgary leading by a score of 5-2. Cooper Hopkins on the play-by-play for this third, along with Alec, Nava, and John Ott. Warren Vogel going to leave for his Oiler teammate. That's RNH as the puck goes back to Bouchard. Now he goes near corner to far corner. Good job by Weegar. Man, did he move his feet quickly there, stepped around his opponent, and that's puck. I'm just trying to get I thought we had a penalty, but it is a puck that was deflected out of play, which gets our stoppage here, guys. So a lot of action as we hit the immediate timeout, boys. 9:06 to go here in the third. 5-2 Calgary. If things continue like this will end up our final score. There have been some good scoring chances, but things have gotten a little bit more mixed up lately. Nothing super clear in the way of offense. What do you think?
Go ahead, Alec.
So it's basically slowed down this third period. Not a lot. It's more of defensive scruffles. And we'll just slow down the pace of this game. No penalties to note in this third period either. It feels like the game is kind of slowed down. But if we're seeing penalties and this game is already out of hand, well, wouldn't be surprised if we see an end of game scuffle and perhaps some glove drops. And given the current state of the game, probably not a lot of fights in which will empty the bench a lot. But nothing's out of the ordinary in rivalries like these.
No, it's not. And again, Cooper might have got the victory lap on this side, but again, he'd be happy to take the 2 points here. I'm just impressed from what we're seeing here with the Flames. I'll just be honest here. And in this third period, dare I say it, I know that there's still some time left to go for the Oilers, and a power play might open it up if that is the situation. But for the Flames, they'll take it the way that it's been going right now, and it kind of feels like the Oilers are sensing the moment that maybe they're taking their foot off the gas.
Yeah, that's a good observation, John. Obviously you never want to say you're throwing in the towel, but I think you look at these guys. They're such professionals. They know all of these game situations in and out, like the back of their hand, et cetera, et cetera. And Alec, you made a good point too. You might see things become a little less pressed, right? As in terms of the offensive urgency, especially on the Flames side, but the Oilers side as well. But we will see. Credit now to Derek Wills, the play-by-play voice of Flames on Sportsnet 960 The Fan. Strange but true, says Derek Wills. Only 3 players have scored goals against the Flames this week. Monahan scored all 3 goals against the Flames for the Jets. Charlie Coyle, 2 goals against the Flames in their OT loss on Thursday. And Zach Hyman, the only 2 goals for the Oilers tonight. The Flames snap one right there from the captain's stick. Michael Backlund puts one into yet again, the breadbasket of Skinner. And the Flames get a face-off coming up.
Oh, that is a strange statistic that you brought up, Cooper, about the number of players that scored goals against the Flames this week. That's strange to believe, but it's true.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And with 8:54 to go here in the third, you look at Stuart Skinner, who, listen, he has 5 goals against, but the Flames really took advantage of some grade A chances tonight. They even missed a couple others. This score could be higher, I think. As we get an icing here, the Oilers have cleared down. Flames get another O-zone face-off. But, I think it was John who said this does look like a game that could be 6-5. And if a couple of bounces go the other way for the Oilers, we could be looking at a 5-4 or even a 6-5 situation. So, John, your instinct was in the right spot, but the hockey gods said something different, apparently.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, this is going to be big for Calgary because they hold on to get this. They're going to go back to the Saddle Dome for the next 4 games.
Yes, they are. Nice home stretch. Glad you pointed that out. And that is going to be a stretch of games that, regardless of opponent, you're at home, you get the home cooking, you're going to want to take care of business. I think at least 3 of 4 there is probably what Craig Conroy wants to see. And right now we're seeing the Flames with some O-zone possession. They did win that face-off. Now the puck bounces off the glass at the far half boards. I thought they were going to possess there, but a nice tie-up by the Oilers at the far corner. Now Weegar trying to chase down his mark, but carrying that puck all the way around, I think was Vogel. Boy, big slap shot right there by Bouchard. He chooses to keep that puck in. Ultimately, falls to the Flames stick, and they will put this one down the ice, but it rolls past everyone, and we will get an icing. 8:08. If you're Kanye West, that comes from heartbreak. But 8:08 left to go here in the third. 5-2 remains the score. Calgary with the lead.
Always love to be able to swing in those music references. I like to do that myself.
It's so funny. I I couldn't resist because I was actually going through, I was making a playlist for something tonight, and I happened to be going through some Kanye songs, and even though it's not a very topical reference, yeah, that's a classic album from a man who is by and large gone crazy. So let's get back to hockey because you get too deep into the Kanye West discussion, it can get real weird real quick. So less than 8 now to go, 5-2 your score yet again. And the Oilers now will snap one right on. Boy slides just to Dan Fenar's left. That one bounced off a leg. Actually almost found its way to the back of the cage. So the Oilers with possession here. Going to flick this one down low. And with the backhand chopping away is Draisaitl. Guess who answers the bell? Mr. Dan Vladar keeps it out. Still just 2 goals for the Oilers.
Yes, he did. And those are some good saves there. I mentioned the homestand. It's the LA Kings, Pittsburgh, Seattle in the mix of it, but in the back end, when you go on the road, you're going to that Eastern Conference of Death, Tampa, Florida, Carolina, and then home to Colorado. So the next 4 games are going to be important. As Cooper said, you want to bank those points.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Alec, go ahead, buddy.
No, it's all good. But you look back at the schedule for the Flames, those next 4 games, something of note, because LA, Pittsburgh, Seattle, Tampa Bay, those, even though they're in the middle of the standings, just as we see an empty net that was missed from the Flames. Bold decision by Kris to Knoblauch to bold Stuart Skinner. With less than 8 minutes to go, basically going to Patrick Waugh route. But the Penguins and Kings, the Kraken and Lightning, I'm not going in any order, but these are tough opponents every day of the week.
Yeah, no question about it. There's a huge scramble in front as the puck is loose. Now snapped down the ice and into the back of the net. Rasmus Andersson with the dagger. He has been, wait a second, was it Andersson? I'm trying to get a look at it. I don't want to make the wrong call here. I've been all over the place. I've been putting more of a premium on comedy tonight, but either way, it is 6-2 Calgary. The bold moves that take Skinner out of the net with 7:40 to play does not pay off. And that one was down low. Vladar comes up big again. McDavid right in the doorstep. He had a chance to flick it over down and out Vladar. And you know what, guys? It was Blake Coleman. Not sure where I got Rasmus Andersson. Maybe it was because of the lettuce. They have similar hairdos, boys. But it is 6-2. Blake Coleman, he has the big fight tonight. He gets the empty netter. And we jump back into the play-by-play with 7 to go. So happy to be able to call a Flames goal here as Coleman is accurate from about 160 feet out. And he finds the back of the net. And the Oilers will probably just skate this one out. Everyone's going to try to stay healthy, you think, at this point, as the puck is fluttered down to Vladar's right. Now a big check right there. Nice job by former Golden Knight Braden Pahal. He's going to have that one. Pahal, I should say. He's going to have that one on his highlight reel. A couple of fans starting to leave the arena here as we get a shot of the Oilers bench. There's McDavid and Kane, and I believe we have a stoppage. So, gentlemen, what do you think? The Flames are running away with this thing now.
Go ahead, Al.
This is a good build-up for what we could see down for the stretch in the middle of this pregame and in preparation for that pregame homestand, which the Flames are going to have just before they go on their Florida road trip for Tampa and Florida, and the rest of the playoff-bound opponents that they may potentially face between the Hurricanes, Avalanche, and Golden Knights. So what we're seeing are several playoff caliber teams all in a row, saying 8 straight playoff caliber teams that the Flames are going to face, which is no easy test, or maybe 6 of 8, considering the Penguins and Kraken. They're out of the playoff spot, but still, they still can make it a threat to bounce. The Penguins still have a long way to go.
Yeah, boy, guys, I just want to touch on Dan Vladar's continued excellence tonight. He has made 2 huge saves in the last 90 seconds or so. I think they were potentially both on shots from Warren Fogle. He has looked really good. Vladar has a couple of big saves, one with the pad and one right there moments ago with the blocker. And that was a pretty clean shot attempt. Really nice shooting lane, and Vladar has just stepped up and risen to the occasion in a major way. As we were saying moments ago, could be a very different complexion in this game right here, as if Vladar were to have played differently as the puck goes right through the blue paint. Nobody can find it, but I think it's behind the net right now. Now picked up by the Oilers. It's out in front for Draisaitl. Boy, the Edmonton Oilers really running with those top couple lines right here, just trying to, I don't know if it's save face or really actually try to get back in this thing. 4 goals in 5 minutes, though, is a tall, tall order. I do not think the Flames are bound to let that happen, but of course I'm tempting fate by saying that as the puck's down low, and Weegar has to make a glove save. He can't trap it, but he keeps it out with the leather. Now 4:51 to go. All of a sudden, 33 shots for the home squad, 29 for the Flames as the puck squirts out to that Oilers logo at center ice, and CC will reset. He finds Zach Hyman. For a second, I thought that was 2-9. It was 1-8. I was off by 1 numeral, and now with a 2-on-1, there's Mangiapane, sends it across. There's a shot saved by the glove of Stuart Skinner. Great job by the Flames to find an offensive attempt right there. It was Backlund with that shot. He was turned aside, but now he finds a teammate. It is Coleman, who hit the empty net a couple of shifts ago. Now Mangiapane doing a good job on the forecheck, trying to go up against Knoblauch, was not able to gain possession. Puck is loose near the penalty boxes. 4:08 to go here in the third. Cooper Hopkins on play-by-play alongside John Ott, Alec Nava. 30 shots for the Flames, 6 goals scored, 33 shots for the blue-clad Edmonton Oilers. Just the 2 goals, both credited to number 18, Zach Hyman. Now, Rasmus Andersson avoids a check and gets the puck to his teammate, but it's loose in the slot now, turned over, and then going backhand, forehand, backhand are the Oilers. That's a yawn mark right now. The goal won't matter all that much, but boy, a little bit of a messy situation right there for Calgary. They give one up, unfortunately, mostly for their goaltender, and it is now 6-3.
That's a very late hit. I know I should be talking about the goal, but Pospisil gets laid out in front of the net, and those are the type of things that you got to watch out for late in this game.
Sorry, Alec, go ahead.
You may want to see if there's going to be a response. If there's going to be if you see a late hit like that, you may want to see if there's a potential response later on. But even though it's a sweet forehand backhand by Matthias Janmark, not a really enthusiastic goal for the Oilers, considering they're down this large. 4 goals in order just after the Blake Coleman empty netter. This puck goes out of way onto a couple of Oilers fans. They may be some of the happiest Oiler fans that we may see, even though the Oilers are about to lose this game. These fans can go home happy. At least they have a puck to go with.
Yeah, a little souvenir right there, and I think that Dan Vladar would love to have pulled a little quick timeout with his teammate and say, hey, guys, just keep it clean, just get the puck out of the zone, and, of course, a couple of bad bounces, and that's going to result in the Oilers capitalizing in an opportunity. So with this bloody lip, that's Matthias Janmark scoring forehand to backhand. Made it look pretty easy. Vladar really hung out to dry there. Not intentionally, of course, but the Flames missed an opportunity to clear the zone, and that's what's going to happen against a skilled team sometimes.
I guess you could thank Kris Knoblauch here, Cooper, for the old 7.5 empty net pull on that side to still keep this score line at 3. I wonder if they're going to do it again. And I agree with you because it is a back-to-back for the Edmonton Oilers. I think that they were doing too much double shifting, I would say, for McDavid and Draisaitl. I think you got to keep the horses in the barn here at this point because this game is done. You don't want to bleed them dry because, again, we said 2-2-1 in the last 5. Now it's going to be 2-3-1 most likely. And it's another one of these games, empty net or not. Edmonton gave up 6 today.
Yeah, they did. And all of a sudden, the interesting stat that I read from Garrett Wills, the Flames play-by-play man, now that goes out the window because Janmark adds to the 2 scored by Hyman. But you know what? John, you're right. We obviously agree with each other. I just started noticing, how can you not notice Leon Draisaitl, but he was out there for multiple shifts,
yes.
A couple of back-to-backs, and he would get the one off and come right back on the ice. I just think that's a strange strategy when you have that happening alongside pulling your goaltender. Then you have the empty net goal, yet you're still doubling up your top lines. So some question marks there for sure. But either way, you make a great point. The fact that Coleman scored that 6th goal, I think that really did put things away because 6-3 feels a lot different than 5-3 with 3 minutes and 25 seconds to play. So that being said, that's exactly the time that we do have left on the clock. Few ticks left now, as it took me that time just to say it out loud. Now here come the Oilers again, but they are offside. So things just getting a little sloppier. And now in terms of sloppy, guess what? Blake Coleman mixed up yet again. They are coming after him, the Oilers are. They are out for blood. Boy, oh boy, I thought it was Andersson under the skin of the Oilers. It is clearly the wily veteran, Blake Coleman, bothering Edmonton tonight.
I mean, he is getting under their skin
Oh,
all night
boy.
long. The empty netter. And I think it started with the Dylan Holloway shove. And Collie wanted to test Coleman. He's getting a little testy with Coleman not liking that shove from Holloway, and that's going to definitely provoke it.
That was pretty high up there for Holloway. He just missed connecting with Coleman's chin there. That could have been bad.
Yeah, that was, I do feel like, look, I'm not going to say this lightly. I feel like there was some intent behind that one. He put the elbow up, and it was right in line to hit that jaw. I'm not sure how Coleman bounced away from that thing. He narrowly avoided getting clocked with an elbow, and I can understand why he would take exception to that. There's a close-up of McDavid. I think he just wants to get out of here. Some of the Flames talking to each other on the bench. Those young Flames. We got Connor Zary. We got Jacob Peltier. I think they are going to enjoy what looks to be a guaranteed W here, as Huberdeau was out with the ever troublesome Corey Perry as he immediately bothers Jonathan Huberdeau. Big surprise there, boys. 3:10 to go here in the third. The possession goes to the Oilers. That seeing eye shot from the blue line made it all the way to Bouchard. Now Bouchard is down, the puck just outside of the net. Boy, the Oilers here turning the heat back up, no pun intended. They still have a little bit of time, and they flick this one to neutral ice. Now Sharangovich on the forehand, going to try to drop this one to his team end, but that is picked off by Edmonton. Now Edmonton with a little jump in their game. Boy, it's an interesting sequence there. After Coleman gets mixed up with things, the Oilers right back to it, looking for the pass across to Fogle. Now bouncing puck out into the circles. Multiple Flames down, trying to block this thing. There's a shot from a sharp angle by McLeod, and it is saved by Vladar. Man, oh man, it looked like the Oilers were rolling over. Guess what? We were wrong. They are making a push, and it is somehow still 6-3 with less than 2:30 in the third.
Yeah, fellas, I should say my apologies here. I didn't mean to supersede my thoughts into yours on that side, because the empty net pull kind of had me flabbergasted a little bit. And now all of a sudden the Oilers turn the heat up in the kitchen here. Dan Vladar in full eagle sprawl, able to keep that if it was on the outside and then make the save there. But it's just pretty bizarre right now.
I mean, we got back-to-back sequences of the Oilers crowding the net all around. Ryan McLeod, and twice, I know that was twice they went over to the net and just shot them from good-looking angles, which was up there for the taking.
Yes, indeed. And so here we go with 2:15. I keep referencing the clock because I am a Flames fan, and part of me just wants this team to get out of here with the win. They are still playing the Oilers. Crazy things happen in hockey. Just want this team to get out of here safely. As there's a big check along the glass, that rattles some of the panes of plexiglass there on the near side. And we have something going on between Nurse and Kadri. I thought there were going to be gloves dropped, but there are not. The puck now back on the stick of Nazem Kadri with 1:50 to go here in regulation. 6-3 is the score. Calgary with the 3-goal lead. I do believe we have a hand in the air here, boys. And yeah, it's getting ugly. We got Kane going after Backlund. Kane just body slammed Kadri against the glass, and now play will stop. I think we have a penalty coming up against Edmonton. But man, has this been a battle of Alberta? It most certainly has.
It really has been feeling the battle of Alberta and living up to that hype. Even though the Flames are getting a lopsided win, which it feels like it, there was Darnell Nurse slamming Nazem Kadri to the wall. And
Man.
Kadri, take the stick away from Nurse. He didn't like that at all. You want to go? You want to go? Well, we're not seeing any gloves dropped. We would have loved to see some more gloves dropped off of Matthias Janmark and Blake Coleman.
I'm not trying to say too much here, Cooper, because you know it's a secondary team for me because we've done so many. But I think Edmonton's starting to get away with a few cheapies here.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that there wasn't more going on. I thought we were going to get a penalty here as well, but Kadri got absolutely cross-checked the ice. I believe that was either just before the whistle went, potentially even after the whistle. And John, you made a good point earlier on the goal-scoring play for the Oilers. There was a late check where Pospisil went down, and that was right over Vladar's legs. So some late hitting here, some dangerous hitting potentially. Oh, and guess what, boys? Yes, we are going to get a power play for the Flames. It's number 90, Corey Perry. Let me know if any hands in the air. Are anyone surprised? No hands in the air. Great. Corey Perry is in the penalty box. Maybe I just accidentally gave him a new last name, Corey Penalty. So 90 seconds to go here in the third. Seriously, I feel like I'm doing a stand up here. I'm so nervous. I just want the Flames to get out of this barn with the win. And now Zary on the puck. He's going to get separated from that thing nicely by Desharnais. Flames trying to keep possession here. Maybe they can tack one on for a lucky 7. The puck bounces toward the far corner. Now it's going to be a one-on-one the other way. Rasmus Andersson's back on that defense. Nice job. Good presence right there. He separates Connor Brown from possession. Less than a minute now. 57 seconds to go. Flames are on the power play. Not sure they're going to try to do too much and let go of this puck. I bet they'd love to hold on to it and just possess this thing out. Here's Weegar now. He's going to look for a pass. Is it at the near half boards? Taps it back to Shillington. Swedish defender gives it back to Weegar. The former Panther now skates it down to the near corner. It's to Backlund's stick. He's on his backhand. Now goes forehand pass. Picked up by Huberdeau. Huberdeau back to Backlund. Backlund's going to try to send it to Weegar, but it's intercepted. Now Shillington back to Weegar. Weegar at the near circle. Back to the top of the umbrella. Shillington over to Huberdeau. Huberdeau can't corral it. Now Zary with it. 20 seconds to go here. 40 seconds on the power play. It's back in front. Thought that puck might have hit the back of the net. I think it went off the side of the cage. Now it's on Shillington's stick. Got to drop it out to Weegar. They're doing exactly what I had hoped they would do, which is possess this thing out until the Oilers pick it up. Now we're seeing some Oilers fans leave the building. Flames fans staying to celebrate as the clock runs out. Green lights go off. 6-3, your final in this iteration of the Battle of Alberta. Dan Vladar with a huge game, made some big stops, and a lot of great goal scoring from all sorts of sources. Taps from the helmets, taps from the gloves, taps from the sticks, to the Flames backup goaltender tonight. Once again, the final score from Edmonton, 6-3 Calgary with the win. Gentlemen, this one had a little bit of everything, but the Flames took care of business in a pretty significant way.
Go ahead and take this, Alec, because I got some extended thoughts.
I'll say Calgary, they did what they had to do against their hated rival, and that's control the pace of the game from start to finish. And the moment they scored those 3 goals in that first period, that might have been a little teaser of what was to come late in that second period. And when they got that second period towards their favor, that's when they took full control of it, not allowing Edmonton to get any leverage of dangerous chances right inside and limiting them to more of the outside and to get into less of a dangerous chances. So for Calgary, even though they had less shots, Stuart Skinner, he had actually more shots than we had total, and more saves. He had total penalties in this game. Speaking to this rivalry, 22 total penalties in total. And Skinner has 26 saves to account for, but Kadri, Pospisil, Hanifin, that was the difference in that first period.
All right, so Cooper, you're probably going to like this. Again, I'm just going to try to keep it as PG as possible here, but let me just say this. You know who's happy today? It's not just the Calgary Flames. When I look at other teams in the Central like Dallas, Winnipeg, Colorado, Vegas, Vancouver. And you know why they're happy? Because you can go into the bathroom, you can take some soap and put some warm water, and you got some oil on your hands, and you can clean that right off as soon as you scrub a little bit. Clean that right off. And you know what I mean by that? That third period. When I saw Edmonton, yeah, you got some goals on the board, but you know what else they did today, gentlemen? They gave up another 6th spot, and they got frustrated. And when they got frustrated, they took penalties, and they tried to outmatch the Calgary Flames by being physical and trying to get them to do something they didn't want to get in the box. And you know exactly what that means, and you know where I'm going with this. When we play in April, in May, and you play like this again, and you try to get more physical and to get yourself out of the game, and let's say you get matched up with a Colorado or a Dallas, they're just going to beat the living crap out of you, and you can only hope to maybe get to Game 6 if you continue to play that way. You can't go like the Oilers did, continue to give up all these goals. You got to get back to closer to that win streak when you had that effort, when you played some defensive games, when you managed the puck. If you try to get all that grit and sandpaper and bring in Corey Perry for that and try to get some late hits in the end, you're going to get what you deserve, and you got whooped tonight.
Yeah, John, you said it with some conviction, and you're 100% correct. I think that the Flames just started too strong. I think they finished too strong. Listen, the Oilers made their push. The Flames did bend. I said this phrase earlier. There was a bend but not break. I was admittedly worried that the Flames would break. We've seen like the Flames are playing differently than they have typically. But listen, they're on a nice streak right now. They're making a good push. You got to think that some belief was flushed into their system when they got that overtime win against the Bruins, and to take down a really good Oilers team in Edmonton by a score of 6-3, and really one of those is you give a breakaway goal, and then one of those is kind of a fluky late goal. This wasn't luck. This was a team playing very close to the max of their ability. And if this continues, and as you both pointed out, the homestand coming up is going to really be the test, right? You got to get 3 out of 4 of those, get the home cooking. You got to take the points, and before you really have that challenge on the road swing, this is a great way to have the Flames start off to finish off a period of games and then head off to that home swing. So really happy to see this as a Flames fan, but just as a hockey fan. Great contest, boys. We keep getting these really fun games with a little bit of everything. Some classic old school hockey tonight with the fisticuffs and some really fantastic goal scoring as well. But we should not forget those goaltenders. Skinner, listen, it was a 6 spot, but he had some really bright moments. But Vladar takes the day. He may, in fact, be my first star of the night, at least for the Flames. He had a great contest.
I won't disagree with you on that side. Again, you kind of walk into it, didn't know who was going to start today. You gave the edge to Vladar, and I thought he was big when he had to be. Again, you could give the stars to the rest of the Flames. I know that's not the way it works on that side, but I kind of like the way that everybody played tonight. It was a good team effort. I understand the Oilers were off a back-to-back, but right off Jump Street, as you mentioned, with the Flames. Good effort for them. They jumped out in front. They got a huge 2 points. Coming off of wins of Boston and Winnipeg, you were wondering if there was going to be any letdowns. Not today.
Absolutely not. The Flames, they played up to their potential that they have shown, and now they improved to 7-3-0 in the last 10 road games with this victory. That's an impressive run for them, especially their last 3 opponents.
John, you got some thoughts as we start to wind this thing down? This was a good one tonight. What do you want to do? You want to continue do a late celebration for your Wings win? How should we wrap this thing up?
Again, I feel pretty good about that toward the end of it, and I will just kind of lead into what I'm thinking about maybe later throughout the week. I'm going to try to go ahead and cover Seattle and Boston on Monday. I know they got fed their lunch a little bit, as you said, but I think they should be able to bounce back. And then maybe take a look at St. Louis, Winnipeg throughout the week. I know that you and I would probably normally cover LA and Calgary, but because you're in the LA side, you might get the blackout situation. So I think you and I will have to catch up on the following week. I will continue to monitor that, and I'm sure as Alec gets in the next week portion, we'll probably catch up in some trade deadline stuff, because I'm just eager to look forward to work with you boys again. We got a fantastic contest in our hands today, and I'm glad all 3 of us were a part of it.
Oh, yeah, happy to be here once again with you two. Hopefully we do this one more time. I am pondering over next Saturday the Mika Kiprusoff jersey retirement ceremony against my Penguins at Calgary.
If you do that and Cooper's going to do that, then I'll join in if I can, if it's a late game.
Yeah, that's an exciting one, Alec. Boy, big tip of the cap to you for even knowing that was going to take place, and the fact that it's against your Penguins. Boy, Mika Kiprusoff. If I could go on, we're at the end of the broadcast. I will not go on and on about the best goaltender in Flames history, but that's all I will say. The best goaltender in Flames history, and they've been fortunate enough to have some really good ones. Mike Vernon comes to mind, the Stanley Cup winner, and a couple others as well. But that's going to be an exciting night. Hopefully we can get back together for that one. I don't mean to dominate it. I know I love covering the Flames. I'm always willing to cover any team. It's just fun working with you guys. But absolutely, no matter what, we'll have eyes on that. And even if we don't cover it, we'll be able to comment on it and look back. So it'll hopefully be a good contest between those Pens and the Flames. But for now, we'll keep our work going. We'll keep an eye on the standings. We'll keep an eye on any trades, and we'll get back together and do this again soon.
Gentlemen, this was a lot of fun. I appreciate you both, and we'll do this again soon. Have a good night.
Good night. Night, guys.